and I squatted and I prayed to God that no one would open the damn door. I was like, God, please, I don't want this door to open. And so I peed for so long and I was squatting and I had to pee. I had a lot of pee in there. And so I was peeing for a really long time and my legs were starting to hurt. I was just like, I can't squat anymore. And I almost fell in the toilet. And I cringed so hard.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 65 of the Thought Patrol podcast. I am joined this week by Caitlyn.
Hey.
Back from the other side of the world, and
yes.
Shawn joining us through Discord, as always, his glorious self.
Yes, and now my heart is back from the other side of the world because Kaitlyn took it with her.
Oh, that was kind of gay.
But
I'll take it.
That was only kind of gay. I was aiming for much deeper than that. You all disappoint me.
Oh,
Please
wow.
continue.
Well, maybe you're the one that failed, and not us. You ever thought about that?
Oh, no. I never fail. What you're talking about. That is crazy talk.
Well, I've missed you, Kaitlyn. We've all missed you here.
That's right, bitches.
The listeners have missed you. We're glad that you're back. Before we move into everyone's weeks, I guess we'll go ahead and get right into everyone's weeks, but we'll start with yours. Tell us about your vacation. Your favorite moment, least favorite moment, something you learned from this vacation that you can share with the rest of the 6 people that listen to the podcast.
That was depressing.
Into the microphone, please. I know it's been a while.
My favorite part would have to be... very funny. My favorite part would have to be... I spent a lot of time with my sister. She's actually...
Not a shitbag.
Yeah, when you get back past all the bitchiness, she's actually not that bad to hang out with. And then my least favorite part was going to the beach. I hate the beach. I hate it.
What?
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we live in Florida. We live like an hour from the beach, and we absolutely both detest the beach.
What? You guys aren't human. I'm so disappointed.
Like, I go to a pool any day because it doesn't have all the cons that come with getting wet. But the beach sucks. I mean, maybe if you don't go in the water, the beach is cool. You go to the beach with some friends, bring some drinks, do stuff like that. But that's more you're there for your friends. And then the scenarios or the setting is different.
Right.
Oh, if I'm going in to get wet, I'd rather go to a pool because then you can have all the fun of sloshing around in liquid without sand and sea air and all that other bullshit.
Like, it was just... we went to like a cape. I don't know what... It was called like Agiana something. I don't know the name of it. I don't know how to say any of the names, let me tell you. But we went to like this cape, and you know what a cape is? It's like like in a circle.
Uh-huh.
And
that's a beautiful explanation.
Shut up.
Like and circle as an eloquent
whatever, man. We went to the island we were on was called Mykonos, and it's really windy there. It's like the island of the winds or whatever. And
is that what it means?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. You know what I learned? Shawn, real quick sidebar.
Me, yeah.
Real quick sidebar.
Where's my cowbell?
I
need my cowbell.
I was
Hold on, I think I got mine, so...
Where did I get mine?
Ruffling around. I was watching Darling in the Franxx with Caitlyn. We watched a few episodes, and they explained what klaxosaurs mean, and I completely missed it the first time through. Like, I forgot. I always thought that was like screaming lizards. I always thought it was a stupid name, and I never knew what it meant, but it literally stood for something, and that was... screaming lizards. So there's your trivia for the day.
Really? That's what it's supposed to mean?
Yeah, klaxosaurs means screaming lizards.
I was like,
oh, that's horribly disappointing.
Yeah. No, the name itself is pretty stupid.
Here we go. Delay cowbell.
Thank you. My interruption.
That hurt my ears.
Good.
I'm going to turn this down a bit.
Anyways. And so it was in like a cape. And since the island's really windy, like when you're in the cape, because the wind only comes from like the northwest or something.
Okay.
So you can't feel it. While you're in this cape, you can't feel all the wind and stuff, which sucks because it's
careful shaking the table.
I'm talking with my hands, Kyle. Fuck off.
Take your hands off the table and speak.
Okay. Well, it sucks because it's normally really hot there, like it is here, but there's no humidity. It's just like really hot, you know.
Yeah.
And so not only was it super hot, I've also I have like kind of a phobia of like
water,
the ocean.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm scared of like deep water.
Like deep water, right?
Yeah.
And so when you go there, this cape, it's kind of like shallow, and then you'll
Just like a big drop.
Yeah, there's a
right?
big drop.
Yeah.
And then you go out a little bit further, and there's all these rocks. And the lady we were staying with, let's name her
Why do we always have to name them?
Baseball.
She lives on the
Why
other
do we
side of the
take her with
fucking
the
world.
names?
Why does it matter?
She doesn't. Her name is Baseball.
Okay.
We stayed with Baseball, and she what?
I just can't with your secret names. Your secret names kill me every time.
Dumbest shit.
Give me a better one.
Rolando Sanchita Cortez.
What was his real name? Rick. Fucking stupid, man.
Give me a better one.
So back with baseball. No, continue. I'm
Okay.
keeping it baseball.
So Baseball. So we stayed with this girl named Baseball, and she was telling me, like, when I first went in and I saw the rocks, I was like, God, that looks so close. But the water is actually really clear there, so you can see all the way to the bottom. And Baseball was telling me that it's the rocks that you see, they look like they're right under your feet, but they're
like
actually
hundreds
8
of feet. Oh,
Not
8. Okay.
hundreds.
I don't know. You said big drop.
It was like 10 or 12 feet like beneath you. And so are you
Continue. I want to hear more
Okay.
about this illustrious baseball.
So Shut up.
You know I love you, but I'm allowed to laugh.
Okay, fine. That's fair enough. But and so it was just like really scary because you see the rocks and there's his eyeball.
Ooh, boots.
Bruce's.
Oh.
And so you see all these rocks and you don't know how close they are to you because she keeps saying like, oh, they're 12 feet under.
Well, real quick, give context for what you just fucking said. That seems incredibly disturbing. You just stopped and you hear, oh, there's the name. That's our dog's eyeball on the floor.
So
Eyeball,
when we bought like a bunch of souvenirs, and in Greece they believe in the evil eye, which is basically like they wear an eye.
Sauron.
What?
Sauron.
Sauron.
Yeah, right?
No.
You looked at me with the most sincere look.
Evil Eye's a curse.
No.
It's bad.
No, I don't.
That
That's from
exists
Lord of
in
the
a lot
Rings.
of countries.
Oh.
The big tower from Lord of the Rings, the eyeball.
Oh, that's no.
Okay.
It's like a part of their religion.
I made a geeky joke.
It was
in
stupid.
Whoosh.
Yeah, it went whoop right over.
Pretty much whoosh.
But they
I got
believe.
it.
I know you did.
I'm so glad somebody did.
I hope you did. I would hope you would.
Anyways, and so they believe in having an evil eye, and when you wear it, it's supposed to ward off, like evil. Basically. Shut up. And so we bought one for Bruce. We bought a keychain for him, and we kind of like reimagined it to make it for his little like collar, and it disappeared.
Yeah, within
we
like
just
a
found
day,
it.
Bruce broke it off,
Yeah.
and it was gone. I don't know how the hell he got. He likes to. He itches his neck a lot with his foot,
So that's
so he
probably what
probably
it was.
like
Yanked
kicked that
it,
shit
yeah.
right off the collar, and yeeted it into
Anyways.
the distance.
So back to the cape and baseball, and so there was just
I always
Okay.
drop my pen.
there was just like this whole area of just rocks, and then because there was this at one point like in the cape there was this giant rock that you can climb on, and people were climbing on it and jumping off, and I was just like, that's really dangerous. Why would you want to do that? But Baseball was telling me that when her daughter was there,
What's her daughter's name?
Soccer.
Anvil.
Anvil.
Yeah.
I like this lore, this cinematic universe.
Baseball and anvil.
So she was telling me that. So Baseball was telling me that her daughter Anvil.
Okay.
She was sitting on one of these rocks in a different beach, and she got a parasite on her ass, and it like ate at her skin.
Interesting.
And it was really gross. And
An
she told me
ass
that after I
parasite?
climbed off. She told me that.
After I climbed on the rock.
After
I
I-
have ass parasites? Oh god, not the ass parasites.
So yeah, that my least favorite part was going to the beach. We only went one time because no one really wanted to go to the
Do you
beach.
need help
And
with your squeaky chair?
No, and it was really the beaches were actually really expensive because you can just go to a beach and
Okay.
like put your stuff out like you do here, like an umbrella. But over there, especially at this cape we went to, you rent chairs,
Okay.
and it's like their own.
Since you're so far
You're
away.
so annoying.
You gotta get the best audio
I'm talking like
fidelity.
loud enough so they can hear me.
I know, it's still, but it bounces. You're
I
giving
can
it
hear
more
you.
room to bounce off everything.
Thank you, Shawn. Whatever. So
I'm an asshole. It's fine.
I understand that. Yes.
I know. I live with you.
Yeah, I understand. But so when you go to these beaches, you rent the chairs,
Mm-hmm.
and they come with like an umbrella, and they have service where like someone will come to you and be like, "Oh, fruit, madam."
Fruit.
Like, oh, yeah, we had fruit, and we had a club sandwich. They gave us water. It was really expensive. It's really expensive there. So those mom and I
It's an island, right? Everything has to be imported.
So yes, that's
Okay.
probably why it's also because they have no competition there. So like we spent. Why are you blinking like that?
I'm just looking at you.
So we spent. Is this boring?
No.
Am I boring you?
No, I'm interested.
Okay.
I've just heard it all once already.
Yeah, I know. Shawn, am I boring you?
Not at all. No, you should listen to Sam's stories.
Oof.
Oof, that was a rough.
Throwing shade, dude.
Anyways, so we were there for 2
Well, it
weeks.
would have been more fun if he was actually here.
Yeah, he would.
Forgive me, Sam. I'll save that for when I see you next time.
Sam actually went off to start his own podcast, so
Are you serious?
that's
Yes.
pretty cool. I forget what it's called.
You're serious right now?
Oh, 100%, yeah.
You don't look serious.
I swear to God. I forget what it's called. It had a nice name, but he's going to be doing his own podcast.
Yeah, not like
with one
Thought
of his
Patrol,
friends.
huh?
That's low. That's a low blow right there.
Anyways, and so we were there for 2 weeks, and the first 2 days and the last 2 days we spent in Athens, which is like the capital. I'm sure you knew that, but I just had to reiterate it.
Okay.
And the rest of the time we spent
Some
on the
people might
island.
not know.
Yeah. Okay. So we stayed at the capital for 4 days, and the rest of the
Retard
time.
people.
Yeah.
Whoa,
oh, okay. And the rest of the time we spent on the island, but everything in Athens was much less expensive because there they have a lot of competition. So we went out to eat a few times, and we went to this restaurant. It was like a cafe or something. And over there for breakfast, they eat. You want to know what they eat for breakfast?
What?
A sandwich with cheese and ham.
So, okay.
A ham and cheese sandwich.
That's
That's what they eat.
shocking.
That's what they eat for breakfast every day.
Just that?
Yeah.
Is
That
it,
and
do you like
chips.
make it yourself, or is it like legit like a sandwich that we'd make over here, like straight up?
No, it's like the same exact. It's made with like white cheese. I don't know what kind of cheese it is, and ham that tastes like bologna. It's really gross.
And that's breakfast every day?
That's breakfast, yeah.
Hell yeah.
In Athens, that's what we ate every day.
Chopped ham.
Okay. Well, what was your favorite? Okay, you said your favorite moment was hanging out with our sister, our
Sister.
stepsister,
Half sister.
our half sister. And what's your least favorite moment while being there?
Going to the beach. That's why I
you
went
said
on that
that?
whole tangent
Oh,
about
okay.
the beach and how expensive it was.
I thought that, yeah,
It
I
was
was going to say
30
that's why the story
euro.
started.
Oh yeah. Mm-mm. It was 30 euro for a single chair at the beach just to sit there.
Damn, dude. You get all day?
No.
Jesus.
You get it from
So you
whatever.
can't sit on the ground?
Well, you can. It's just
Hot sand.
yeah.
It's not fun. I mean,
Bring a fucking towel. Who
Exactly,
cares?
but baseball wanted to go out with all these expensive beaches.
yeah, fuck baseball, man. I don't even know her, but she's a bitch.
Anyways,
It's okay. We're protecting her name for some reason,
Yeah.
so it doesn't matter.
so baseball wanted to go to all these expensive beaches. I need water. I really need water. Excuse me, I'm sorry. She went to all these expensive beaches that were like 30 euro every single day, and that's just for the chair. And you also get the service, but they make everywhere you go, they make you pay money for water
Okay.
because
Do you want to share your toilet paper story? I just thought about it.
let me finish.
I just fucking thought about
Let me
it.
finish. And so, because like on the islands, they have this ancient like system. They use septic water,
Okay.
so you can't brush your teeth with it. You have to get a bottled water
Okay.
to brush your teeth with. So everywhere you go, like you don't get free water. You have to pay for the water.
Okay.
That's like one of the things we take for granted here. We get free water.
I mean, it's not free. You pay a
No, we
utility
pay
charge.
for water
No,
here, too.
well, like if you go
I
to
understand what you're
like
saying.
if you
Like
go to
you
a
use
restaurant.
bottled water. We have a water system. You still pay a utility.
No,
fee,
but I mean
though.
like when you go to a restaurant
Jeez.
and you want like can I have water?
Yeah, can I have
like
tap? Yeah. Okay.
yeah, they give us tap. But
Okay.
I'm not. I understand. I'm not stupid.
No,
I'm saying like if you go to
clarifying.
thank you. If you go to like a restaurant,
You did say tour words.
we're not gonna talk about that. Continue.
he's so
Just
rude. But like if you go to a restaurant, you have to spend €4 on a bottle of water, and if you finish that, you have to buy another one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
It's
got
just
you.
stupid.
But they also don't have do they have tap there, like flowing water, or no?
They have like
It's all septic though, right?
yeah, so you can't drink it.
Okay.
Like I said, like if you're in the bathroom and you want to brush your teeth, you have
use a bottle of
to
water.
use a bottle of water. You can't use the water. So like to rinse, to wet your toothbrush.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay, so clarify.
What about the toilet
what
paper? Oh no,
is
go ahead, Shawn.
septic water exactly?
So it's like the story I was about to get into, where if whatever water you use, when like you flush it or whatever, or whenever you use water, it goes to a place and they kind of reuse it.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it, but it's water that sits in a septic tank. Like they will fill it up, so it doesn't sit like anywhere
It doesn't
clean.
get purified.
Right, it's not clean
All
water.
our stuff goes through a process where it
So they're
gets...
just using reclaimed water.
Yeah, pretty much.
Basically, and it sits in like a I don't know if I'm explaining this right, but it sits in a septic tank all day, and that they like these giant trucks.
So you're saying they don't have like a collective system, so each house has its own tank where it
Yes.
or uses
or
recollected
each like
water.
each like little
Neighborhood.
neighborhood has
Okay.
You
its
don't
own
take a
tank.
shower in that shit, do you?
You do, yeah.
That's what
Take a
soap's for,
shower
my
in
boy.
so much cold, dirty water.
Yeah,
They've
dude.
got to treat it at least a little bit, or else it'd be like
they
bathing
do.
in sewage.
I'm saying like it's not as clean. Like you can take a shower in it. It's not like it's shit water.
For just having a bad dream, dude. Oh,
Good morning.
good morning,
So
sunshine.
it's not like it's shit water. It's like it's just not
It's not
like very
safe
clean.
to drink.
Yeah,
and
it's
stuff
not
like that.
something you'd want to drink or brush your teeth with. It's water that sits in a septic tank all day. So it's not it only gets cleaned once, not very well, because it's like an ancient system or whatever.
Okay.
And then it sits there and then you use it, and then the reclaimed water is what they use for like their gardens or whatever. And then these big trucks that are going like all around the island to fill all the other water go and they fill other like septic tanks with this water.
Okay.
It's not shit water, it's just not
Okay.
super clean.
All right. Toilet paper.
Okay, so
story.
on the toilet. Okay, so because of this system, whenever you go to the bathroom and you wipe your ass or your private parts, you can't flush the toilet paper. You can't. So, and the reason for that is because again that water is reused, so you can't have like all this toilet paper in it.
Yeah.
So no matter where you go on the island, a public bathroom, whatever, you have to throw your used toilet paper into a trash can that sits next to the toilet. Okay? So in the house that we were staying in, this baseball that we were staying with, she like made us replace the trash every single day because, you know, when you take a shit
Yeah.
and you wipe, you know how there's still shit on that toilet paper.
Yeah.
So you put it in the trash can next to you, and it smells like garbage.
It smells disgusting,
terrible, right?
yeah.
And so sometimes, you know, when you take a really hard shit,
Okay.
you gotta wipe like multiple times.
Okay.
So there, instead of having more pee in there, you have more poop in that trash can.
Okay. So it smells nasty.
What?
Oh, continue.
So at one point, I know we were like lazy, so we didn't change the trash like
Uh-oh.
overnight.
They like behead you.
Well, no, it just
Cut off a
smelled-
finger.
It just smelled so bad. And one night, we went to like this movie theater outside. Mm-hmm. So it was like under the stars or whatever. It was at night, and I had to go to the bathroom so bad, and so I tried to go before the movie, and I go and they have this public bathroom. I was terrified. For
What
my
movie
life.
did you see?
We saw Ocean's 8, the new one with all the ladies.
Okay.
Rihanna.
Was it in English?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they
What was
had
the percentage of people that spoke English to people that spoke like Greek?
99%.
So it's just mostly English.
Well, they speak both languages.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
you just
like
heard
everyone
English
spoke,
everywhere.
especially in Mykonos, since that's like a tourist island.
Okay.
Like everyone spoke English that we talked
Makes
to.
sense.
Yeah, but the person that we stayed with at like our Airbnb our last night, she didn't speak a lot of English. That's the only person I met that didn't speak like a lot of English.
Okay.
On with my story. And so I was using this public bathroom in this shithole. And I walk in, there's two like doors that open to the toilets. First of all, one of them doesn't even have a light on, and it's nighttime, so it's pitch black in there. I didn't have my phone, I left it there. And so I was just like, I'm not going in there. It's dark. I'm scared. I'm in a different country. I'm scared. And then so I went into the other one. Kyle. There was no lock on the door.
Okay. Okay.
There's no lock on the door.
You hold it with your feet. You hold the bottom of it with your feet.
There was no way to flush the toilet.
Okay.
There was no toilet paper.
Okay. So Bear Grylls stuff, man.
There was no
improvise,
there was
adapt,
no
and
seat.
overcome. All right.
There was no seat for me to sit on.
So just,
for me to pee.
Okay.
Okay. I couldn't and then it smelled horrendous because you can't flush anything. And so I was just like, I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna do it. I had to go so bad, but I was just like, I can't.
It was just
pee
number
here.
one?
Yeah, it was number one.
Oh, come on.
No, I was scared. The door wasn't
you
gonna
just
lock.
hover and drop.
I was afraid.
Yeah.
Okay, and
Okay.
there was this hole next to the toilet.
Okay.
It was deep and it was dark. I didn't know what was gonna come out of there.
Was it shit on the floor like a
Yeah,
shelf?
like a hole in the floor. I was just like,
That's
what?
where all the shit paper goes.
No, because they had a trash can. I saw the trash can for the toilet paper. I was just like, I couldn't do it. And so I went and I watched the movie, and like halfway through, I was about to explode. I was about to pee my pants in Greece watching this stupid movie. And so I was like, I have to go. I'm going to do it. And so I brought my backpack with me for some toilet paper because there was no toilet paper. I had tissues in there. And so I get there and I squatted and I prayed to God that no one would open the damn door. I was like, God, please, I don't want this door to open. And so I peed for so long and I was squatting and I had to pee. I had a lot of pee in there. And so I was peeing for a really long time and my legs were starting to hurt. I was just like, I can't squat anymore. And I almost fell in the toilet. And I cringed so hard. I thought I was going to cry. I was like, I cannot cry right now. It was so bad. Oh my God. Okay. And then I stopped peeing. Finally, I wiped, and then I threw it in that dark abyss next to the toilet. And then
What happened to the fucking trash
I
can?
was like, fuck this. I need to get out of here. I was like, I gotta
Before
go.
they harvest my liver or some
Yeah,
shit.
so I was gonna, like, a hand's gonna come up or something, grab my, like, ass. I don't know. I had to get out of there. I was so afraid. And so I washed my hands with no soap. Because there's no soap in there either.
Okay.
I was just like...
You rinsed your hands.
Yeah, I just rinsed them. Because God knows what kind of germs were in there. And no one opened the door on me, thank God. And I left.
How was the movie?
After that, it was good. I was like, God.
No, how was the
felt-
movie? Like the movie itself?
Oh, Ocean's 8 was actually... It was okay.
Okay.
It wasn't anything to scream about.
Okay. Well, interesting story time with Caitlyn. I appreciate it. We're glad you're back and safe and shit.
Yeah, listen, guys. Next time you take a shit and you wipe your ass and you throw that toilet paper down the toilet, you better be thankful you live in America. Yeah. You better be thankful.
Or at least a
you live in
country that
America.
supports that, because I mean, it's not just America that
Well,
is
yeah,
flushing
I mean,
toilet paper.
in a
first
Athens,
world country,
right? In Athens, like you could
Is
could
Greece
put the,
technically a third world country?
no. Well, I would.
Isn't it
What?
based
No.
on like GDP or some shit like that? It's based on how much money they make.
It was
isn't
just went
or is it
bankrupt.
utilities that they offer?
I don't think it's third world. Is there a second
It might be
world?
close.
Yeah.
Is there a second world? A plane between the existences, maybe.
I don't know, but
I'd have to Google that.
I mean, and I didn't have my SIM card in because my mom didn't want to have international,
yeah,
charges.
like roaming, data
Right.
roaming and shit.
and so I didn't have internet at all. I had to use a map most of the time, so I used a
Learning
map for the
life
first
skills.
time in my life, which was really hard because you don't know where you're going.
That's
Especially what?
That's why he said that.
Especially in like Athens, the city. Like you have people to ask and everything, but sometimes you're like, where? And the street signs were spelled differently on the street than they were on the map.
Interesting.
So we mainly went down a street called Ailu with an A, and on the map it had an E. And so I'm like, what street is this? And I finally figured it out. I was just like, oh, this is the same street. So it's like they're trying to get you lost. And in Mykonos, the island we were on, over there, and there's like a town there. It's called the Mykonos town or whatever. It's like the main town of the island. Mm-hmm. And there, like, we also had to use a map, but like, people actually live there. Like, they're not just businesses, and there's not people everywhere. Mm-hmm. So mom and I got so lost one time. that we got so deep into this town that we just were hit, like, we were around, like, residents, people that lived there. So we didn't know where to go, and we couldn't ask anyone for directions because these were people's homes, right? And I was so afraid. I thought someone was going to stab me.
What?
I was like, please don't stab me. I don't want to die. I want to die at
You have a lady bringing up groceries from the grocery store with her child.
You with a jail toothbrush knife.
And Caitlyn runs up there, like, grabbing onto her shirt. Please don't stab me. Just tell me where to go.
I mean, my one thought was, like, if I die, I want to die at home. I don't know. Like, you've never been to another country. It's kind of weird to think about. But, like, there were a lot of, like, it's scary there. You know, like, when you're in another country and you're not at home, there's a lot of things I wanted to do, but I feel like I'd get arrested over. I don't want to get arrested in another country.
Like what?
So we went to a lighthouse that was on the island, and I wanted to climb on top of it, like, so bad, because I saw somebody else doing it, and I felt like, because this is, like, a functioning lighthouse, so I felt like that if you climbed up it, like, you could get inside. So I really wanted to climb up this goddamn lighthouse. But I didn't, because I was like, if I get arrested here, then what are they going to do? They're going to hurt me.
Yeah. To the rape dungeon.
Like, everything ends with, like, stabbing or rape in her imagination. It's like, it all ends badly. Somebody walks up, excuse me, miss, you dropped your purse. And she just runs off screaming.
Like, bye! And so,
I'm sorry!
And so the one thing, like, that I was thinking the whole time is, it's really weird to think about, I know, but I was just like, if I ever die, like, I want to die in America.
You're supposed to be on vacation. For fuck's sake.
I know. But, like,
I never knew she was this neurotic.
It was scary. Like, I went through, like, back alleyways, and, like, I heard a lot about
where most stabbings happen.
Exactly.
The 7th level of hell. It's not like you're going through Baghdad while it's being bombed. It's fucking Greece. Jesus Christ.
But still, like, I don't know. You have to understand. You ever been to another country, Shawn?
Hey, I've seen Taken.
Yes.
I know what could happen to
Where have
women
you
that
been?
visit
Where have you
Europe.
gone?
I went to the land once.
That's Florida.
It's Florida.
That's bad enough. I'll get stabbed more into land than you would.
No, like, listen. Let me tell you.
Have you been to Miami? It's terrifying. No,
I have.
We have been to Miami.
But at least, like, you're home. Like, you're
Miami
you're in your own country. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if you get stopped by somebody, they're not going to ask you for your passport. Because a lot of times I didn't have my.
I do not share your paranoia, but I understand what you
understand me
saying.
though. Like, I'm in a different country.
I do.
Like, if I wanted.
I'm a supple young teenage girl.
Shut up.
Perfect for the rape dungeons.
Shut up.
Yeah. Not that I've thought of that. I'm just saying yes.
I'm just saying, like if something happens to me, or something happens to you,
Yeah.
you would rather be in your, like, here in your own country, even if you're in a different state. Like, you'd rather be here than be.
I don't know.
In a
I mean, if I have a
land.
choice between something happening to me in a rape dungeon or something happening to me here, the rape dungeon does sound a little appealing.
Well, you're a perv, so.
Ooh, got him.
That is also correct. Yes,
Come on,
that's
like,
true.
do you understand?
I understand.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Well, you've never been out of the country before.
I just feel bad for all those people in Greece who are like, look at that beautiful young girl. I hope she's having a great day. And in the back of your head, you're like, don't stab me. Don't stab me.
Well, it's
don't
not like it was
stab
in the back of my head the whole time. It's only, like, when we were in the
I'm pretty
town.
sure just a few minutes ago you said, in all the time in the back of my head, I was thinking.
I didn't say that. I did
I
not.
don't know.
I'm saying,
Rewind the tape.
I'm saying, like, the times that we were in town, like, late at night, and, like, I know you guys have never been there before, but, like, this in Mykonos, they have a lot of, the town's, like, really confusing to try and navigate, so there's a lot of alleyways.
You know, I have
and
a friend from Mykonos, right?
Okay, so then
A guy I went to high school with.
Yeah, he understands then. He's like, okay, yeah, I get it. She went through a lot of alleyways. She was in a different country. She gets
Probably.
Okay.
Hey,
The way he describes it,
That's
he grew up in the
That
sticks.
was your week?
Well, that was 2 weeks ago.
How was the last week then?
Well, we put down our cat.
That sucks, yeah.
That sucked. I'm really traumatized.
Let me get if you're near a computer, smack that motherfucking F key to pay respects to Fluffy, who was
Fluffy.
put down this week.
I'm never
Give me
going to do
big
that
Fs.
again.
Rest
I
in
was very
peace, Fluffy.
traumatized. I was not expecting what any
You
of
were
that
the
to happen.
fuckers that decided, let's stay with her as she breathes her final moments.
okay,
You can
well-
easily drop the cat off and they'll do it for you so you don't have to watch it slowly
Okay,
die.
well, I don't know if anyone's ever done this before, but like when
I have.
okay, well, like when they take them and they put this sedative in,
Yeah, to calm
and they're
them down.
asleep.
Yeah.
And they said now we're gonna do it. Like you can leave now if you want. Remember when they said that? That's
You
when
can
we
still
should've-
just drop the animal off and they'll do
No,
everything.
I don't want. That sounds so. That's messed up. I don't want to do that. But like when they said she's asleep now, like she's not aware of what's happening. So then that's when we could have left. That's when we should have left. But like they put this stuff in her, the poison or whatever it is, don't laugh at me. The poison, like, and it was terrible. Like her eyes, I'm never gonna forget her eyes. They looked dead. They looked so dead. I know.
Newsflash.
Like you ever see that
I don't know what you expected.
Did you ever see
We
that
went to
picture?
euthanize our cat.
You ever
And you're here like, I don't know what's gonna happen. What's gonna happen to our
You ever
cat?
see that picture of Fate Stay Night? It's like people are dead when they die. I'm like, that's me
They
right
do that
now.
all the time in Fate Stay Night. But people die when you kill them. That's just horrible translation. That's all that shit is.
I'm like, that was me, like watching my cat pass away. But like,
Yeah, but then they'll put
eyes.
in they put the IV in and then they'll inject her with the thing that whatever I forget what's called whatever
like,
kills her.
They do it like right
And
in
then-
front of,
yeah,
and it happens
you can
really
leave
fast
again. And
exactly,
then
yeah.
They put it in and then the doctor will come with the stethoscope, listen for the heartbeat to go away, and then he'll tell you like.
And then he's like, she's gone, and I'm just like, it took like 2 seconds for her to go. I was just like, seriously, buddy, are you serious right now? And it was like. It wasn't the fact that it happened, because listen, like our cat was 17 years old. Like she lived a very good life.
Yeah, she's like 80 something.
Yeah, so that's
relation to
that
people
comforts me. But it's just like her eyes, and the fact that like you leave and you just leave her sitting there on the table and you just leave. And I know by then she's like a corpse,
Yeah,
like she's dead by then. But it's just like I thought it was just so sad and it was really depressing. And I had to work the next day, and I was just like, guys, I'm like, my cat's dead. And then I don't even want to say something happened at work that was terrible. I don't want to get into it because it'll take me like I'll talk about it for like 5 years.
another 50 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, how long has it been already? Has it been half
I don't
an
know,
hour?
but I am
32
never
minutes.
accusing Sam of taking a long time to talk about his previous week ever again.
It was an emotional roller coaster. I was
was-
invested.
Yeah, you were invested. I
seen
know.
her in 2 weeks. I have 2 weeks worth of harassment to catch up on.
Listen,
She's going to get it the entire episode.
I had
that's
2
just-
weeks
it
of
has to
stuff.
happen.
I had 3 weeks of stuff to tell you
Yeah.
because I've already been home for a week. I had 3 weeks of stuff to tell you.
Got anything else?
I
wanna
want to
tell you about what happened at work.
I also want to be able to give you quips, and that will
Okay.
happen. By the way, I had to put my cat down when somebody ran off the road and intentionally ran her over. I know what it's like. I stayed with her. I was like 9, and I
Yeah.
chose to stay with her.
Wouldn't you want to, if you
the
drop off
entire
your
time.
pet, like, wouldn't you want to be there when they pass? Like, come on,
I
tell me in the
was. I
comments
stayed the
down
whole
below.
time.
YouTube people. Tell
Yeah,
me in the Discord.
no one
What
comments
does
on our
Kyle
videos.
say? What does Kyle say
What does
normally?
Kyle say?
Tell me in the Discord,
No one
people.
watches the YouTube video. Come on
That's
now.
messed up. I watch them.
What?
I watch them. I always
I
give them a
watch
like.
I listen to the podcast.
I always give them a like.
I like putting it on YouTube because it offers another way. Like we've gotten a few subscribers, although we've grown much faster on Twitch than we have anywhere else. Almost at
Anyways.
100 followers. But
But tell me in the Discord, everybody.
yeah, Discord's the best way if you want to talk to us or the host in particular. You could add us on Discord.
Tell us
we're
in
all,
the Discord.
We're all relatively. I'm the most active, but we're all relatively
I'm not
active in there.
You're interrupting me again.
Continue.
Tell us in the Discord, people, if you'd rather be there with your pets when they pass away, or just drop them off like Kyle says, because he's an emotionless asshole.
Motionless asshole.
He's an emotionless asshole.
I don't. I'm not active in there. Oh, I mean, I have it on my phone, but I'm rarely in an environment where I can have my phone out during the day. So
Same.
I don't check it often. Sometimes Kyle has to send me a text, dude, get in the Discord, and then I'm like, oh, hey, what's up, guys?
I'm literally on Discord all
How's
day
it
because I
going?
can't afford it. Like I'm at some form of technology all day for the most part,
need
either at
water.
work or what.
I need water.
If you want to go get,
I
some,
work
that's
in
fine.
secure environments, so we can't have
Water break.
phones. I still have it, but
Make sure it's muted. All right. Well, Kaitlyn's taking a second. Shawn, you want to revel in your shitty week? Share with us?
I hate my job. It's awful.
Nice.
I hate the people. 90% of the people I work with.
Nice.
My life is terrible, and I am in the 7th pit of hell. Spider-Man was
Nice.
really fun.
Oh, fucking Spider-Man. We're going to be talking about that today. All of us have played it in one way or another. Caitlyn probably the furthest back. But we've all been going ham on Spider-Man. Loving it. We're going to be talking about that for our main topic. A spoiler-free conversation. We're going to stay away from main story elements for the most part. And try to stick away from any like big reveals. Like if you know anything about Spider-Man, you watch like the E3, you know like about some of the characters that are in the game and shit like that. But we'll stay away from anything major that happens. I'm thinking, yeah, but we'll talk about that during the main week. You have any games you played, Shawn, that you want to talk about? Besides Spider-Man?
I've still been working on Trove. I've been enjoying that. That's fun. And I got a new indie game, but I'm not gonna lie to you. I downloaded it and forgot what it was. So yeah, that's pretty. But I got one, and I think it was good. It's a role playing game.
I think it was good.
Yeah, I think it's a role playing. I don't fucking remember. I'd have to look it up. Oh, and I bought the 8-bit Bloodstained. I got it for Vita, and I got
that Castlevania game.
PS4, yeah. You know how they did the 32-bit style, and then they did the 8-bit one?
Yeah.
Is like if we get enough donations, we'll make an 8-bit style also. So I got the 8-bit one because they haven't released. I read that the release for Bloodstained was supposed to be like months ago or something, but it apparently got delayed because it's not anywhere. So I figured I'd make do with the 8-bit one, which I'm totally fine with. I haven't played it yet, though, because I've been focusing on Spider-Man, because I actually want to beat that before I pick up another game this time.
Okay.
Instead of playing it 3/4 of the way and quitting like I do with everything.
I got you.
Fucking disease bringer.
Me.
Did you unmute yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My week's been good. We've still been, again, like I was saying earlier, we've still been streaming on Twitch a few times a week, but enjoying that. We did miss one on Friday, unfortunately. I don't remember why. We did something. I don't remember. But still enjoying that. Again, said we were like at 75, 76 followers. It's been growing, which is cool. Cool to see the growth. Cool to see you guys all drop by and hang out with us when we do stream at night. The last stream we did was we played through the Battlefield 5 open beta. Played a little bit of that game, tried it out. And with a group, it's fun. I mean, it's Battlefield. I mean, besides all the other shit surrounding the game, it's just a Battlefield game. But with a group of people, it's pretty fun. Enjoyed that. Still don't think I'm going to be buying it. Just because there's a bunch of other shit, like Fallout 76 is going to be coming, Red Dead's going to be coming. Just a bunch of stuff I rather do, if you get what I'm saying. So that's that. Been playing through... I played another game on stream called Battle Chef Brigade, which is basically if Food Wars, the anime, was made into a video game, that would be exactly what it was. And that was pretty cool. You basically are a chef to be... You're like studying to be a battle... You're studying to be part of the Battle Chef Brigade, and it's like the top group of chefs that basically cook delicious meals, but you need to use like high tier monsters to do that. So literally, you get dropped into an arena, Shawn, and you'll have a judge, and you'll get a theme for the meal. So like it will be like this type of monster or this type of dish, and you'll get a judge that has a certain taste that they prefer. And basically, you run out to the left and you literally go and murder animals for like fresh ingredients and come back and cook them. And then when you get back, it's almost like a match 3 game, like Bejeweled or something like that, where you power up your meal by adding ingredients and matching up orbs to like make the dish stronger, basically. And that's what you do as you cook. And then it will give your dish a rating. And the more you add, you can increase the rating. It basically has nothing to do with cooking, actually.
That sounds insanely ridiculous.
It is super ridiculous, but it's got like a really nice like storybook kind of art style to it. The art's really pretty. Voice acting's okay. The music's really good. And it's just a kind of ridiculous story that seems ripped directly out of an anime, basically. And it's pretty fun. So we played a little bit of that on stream while we were waiting for Battlefield 5 to download and install on Saturday, I think that was. Again, we've been playing Spider-Man. Absolutely fucking adoring it. I'm excited to get into that conversation, talk about that. And so my week's been okay. I mean, just work and school and stuff like that. Looking forward to the rest of fall. New games coming out and stuff of the like. That's pretty much all I look forward to these days is fucking video games. So my life's a disappointment, but hey, what does it matter? So I'm glad that you both can join me. I'm glad all you guys tuning in online or however you're tuning in are joining me today or tonight or this evening, this afternoon, whatever time it is by you. We appreciate you guys for hanging out with us. It does mean a lot that you guys tune in every week and listen to our banter. So first, before we continue, let's go into our housekeeping. We got Twitch.
Housekeeping.
I spoke about it. We do Twitch streams. If that sounds interesting to you in any way, shape, or form, you want to see us live or hang out with us in person, I've tried to get more people on. I know we did a 12-hour one with Antony. We're going to be doing another 12-hour live stream on our second anniversary, most likely, which will be in April again. So that's a little bit ways away. I've had Caitlyn on. We played Luigi's Mansion a bit one night. I know we did that. I have Shawn on when we do the narrative stuff. So I try to get people on when I can. It's just the way that we're situated with people being kind of separated from each other or busy schedules. It's not the easiest thing to get everyone on for a stream. So usually it's just me. Depends on what's going on. But we do have fun there. I know a lot of the community members stop by. Funny Guy, Sam. I've seen Lark in there. I know Mr. Frost hangs out with us. And it's just a blast having all you guys hang out with us every or multiple times a week just to kind of tune in. Even if you stop by for a second and say hi. Like one thing, one of the members that belongs to another podcast, a few of the members belong to another podcast, He'll always come in. It's Carlos. He'll always come in and say he's like, "Asa, what's up, thoughts?" And then he just dips. It's the funniest thing. He'll just be there for a second and then he's gone. But the fact that he stops by just to say hi, we do appreciate it. So if you want to support us in that endeavor, feel free to go by, drop a follow over on Twitch if you are tuning in and that sounds interesting to you. We do stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. And usually it goes till about midnight or 1 in the morning, depending on what's going on. Also, we have a Discord, like we said before. All the ways to tune in with us, all of this will be in the description below. Wherever you're tuning in, you'd have the links for all that. The Discord, if you want to hang out with us, again, speak with us, or drop a dank meme or two, or you do something.
We do love dank memes.
If you do something of your own podcast that you want to share in the Discord, anything like that, we'd love to hear from you guys. If you're listening on YouTube and something interests you throughout this episode, your opinions on Spider-Man, you love it, you hate it, feel free to drop that in the comments below. Also, feel free to subscribe if you want to get more of us every week. This podcast comes out every Tuesday at 8 a.m. So if you want to get us next week as well, feel free to drop that subscription either on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, most of your respective Spotify, most of the big streaming services, we are on there. You should be able to find us there. You probably did find us if you're listening to us right now. So I don't even know why I say that, but whatever. We also we have a Twitter at ThoughtPatrolPD. It's mostly for announcements right now. If we do polls or anything like that, polls will go up on Twitter as well. And finally, we have a Facebook where we also share links from our sister Facebook page, the Streaming Geek that Shawn runs, and things of that all that will be again in the description below, so you can check that stuff out. We'd love to hear from any one of you guys.
Going up soon.
Oh shit!
We're gonna be putting up a review of Asobe Asobasa.
God, I fucking love that show, and I'm so sad it's over for now. I really hope we get a second season. I've heard a lot about it, even out of our circle of people that talk about it. So I'm hoping it's popular enough to warrant a second season. Yeah, I'd love it to go as long as like Nisekoi did. Or not Nisekoi. What the fuck is the name of that show? My Ordinary Life. Wow, I forget. Shawn, we watched a little bit of it. With like the characters with like really simple faces. The animation's really good. It's on Crunchyroll. Fuck, man, I forget what it's called.
Yeah,
it's called My Ordinary Life in English. I just don't know what the Japanese name is, but whatever. So, yeah, that's that. Let's go ahead and move on to our mailbag. We do have a mailbag question from our boy, Larik. Coming in clutch with the questions recently. We really do appreciate it. We have a good one this week. As always, Larik's good with the deep questions that make for a good topic. So, Larik says, what is an obscure, I'm assuming you mean to say game, that you have really enjoyed? Back in the PS2 days, I went into my local GameStop, and the guys recommended a game called Ribbit King. It's a golf game where the ball is a frog, and the characters are very cutesy Japanese characters. It's such a weird game that without the recommendation, I would never have played it. My brother, sister, and I have had many fun hours with it. Have you ever had a similar experience with an obscure game? Shawn, do you have a game that was not necessarily mainstream that you had a lot of fun with?
Oh yeah, I've discussed it before. It was Trap Gunner. I don't even remember how I know I didn't find it on my own. I know the artwork probably would have attracted me a little bit because it was anime artwork and I was super weeby, but yeah, I am. But the title and the pictures on the back of video games are rarely, if ever, helpful. And I remember, I think I saw like a tiny panel of it, like an editor for a minor video game magazine said they were really fond of it, or somebody in a electronics boutique, which was the awful business that was murdered by a more awful business known as GameStop, and devoured by it. No, actually, that's not entirely true. The electronics boutique, well, it doesn't matter. The brains behind Electronics Boutique merged the two businesses. They got rid of everything good about GameStop and took the horribleness of EB and put it into GameStop. And that's kind of the stain that we have now. But it was a sleeper hit. Like everyone that plays Trap Gunner loves it, but nobody played it because nobody knew about it. It was just a minor release. I know there's been other ones, but that's the first one that pops into my head. Like anybody who has a PS1, like I tell them they need to get Legend of Dragoon, they need to get Trap Gunner. I've got like a list of 10 easy to find games, except for Dragoon, that they need to get their fucking hands on.
Okay,
that's definitely one of them.
Okay, I'm seeing if he has anything else that's part of the question that we could answer here. I think that's it. You did a good job answering it there. Would you like to give a short explanation of what the game's like, real quick, before we move on?
Trap Gunner is like a competitive combat puzzle game. Less puzzle, more combat. The two players are trapped in a room, and you lay out various combinations of traps, and every additional trap in a chain that you lay out includes it multiplies damage. So if you have like they step on an explosive that shoves them and it shoves them forward, and then they hit, because they can't see your traps are invisible, so then they hit an arrow that turbocharges them and throws them down a lane, and at the end of the lane is another explosive that shoves them back, and then there's a spring on the wall that shoves them away from the wall, and they run into the spring, and that pushes them onto another trap. And then wherever they land, you've got a remote detonator stated, and when they land, you blow that up. It's like a fighting game where you don't fight with moves, you fight with traps. And in order to find traps, you have to slow down and crawl and basically check the ground around you. And while you're doing that, you can't fight. Your camera zooms in, so you see less of the map. So and then you have a projectile attack, except for I think one character, and I think a melee attack. But they don't do an assload of damage. Like they're more to harry somebody while they're running around. And then each character has their strengths and weaknesses. Each one has a unique ability, and you're stuck in an arena fighting off against those characters. And it does the story, the way the story works, the way the cutscenes work, all that stuff, it works just like an old fighting game. Do a match, have a conversation. Do a match, have a conversation, that kind of thing, and then you unlock hidden characters, and it was super fun. And considering it was a PS1 era game, and there's not tons of traps, I think there's like 8. The way that you work traps together gets fairly deep, and there's a lot of frenetic, tense battles where you're just like, you've got a tiny little sliver of health, and you're desperately trying to figure out a way to lay out these. Maybe you got a shitty grab bag of traps this time, or you've used all your good ones. You're trying to figure out how to best make use of this one, and I just had an enormous amount of fun with it. It needs, it had a versus mode, but yeah, I mean, you can see what the other person's doing on the TV, so it wasn't the most successful versus mode.
Yeah, I feel you. Screen lookers abound. If we lost him. Never an episode where nothing goes wrong. So while we wait for Shawn to get back, Kaitlyn, do you have something that you played that you remember anything about that you wouldn't consider a mainstream game? Something that we played a while ago.
I wouldn't consider it.
I don't know, just something that you think people never talked about, like at all. I know this is kind of hard for you because you didn't really play a lot of video games when you were younger. Was there like a game that like stuck out to you though that you didn't think was just something that was popular when you were younger?
Can I say Dishonored? Like
Dishonored?
Dishonored?
Not really. No, Dishonored. No. Dishonored's pretty well known.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. Dishonored's well known.
No, it's
How
not.
much? When did I lose you guys?
When you were saying the versus mode was bad, but you're back now, so welcome back.
I went all in depth. I was like, it was this really great fucking explanation, all this stuff, and then I was like, and that's about it. I'm done. And then nobody answered, and then there was crickets, and I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me.
The last
I love the game.
was...
It's a good game. Everyone should play it. I'm done.
Hell yeah, dude. Back. All right, so Kaitlyn, can't think of anything at all that you played that you'd never heard your friends talk about.
Dishonored. The first
I guess
one.
this is kind of difficult because you don't have friends that play games, I guess.
No, I don't.
Rattle off a couple games and I'll tell you if it might be
Dishonored.
No, it doesn't count. Everyone fucking knows about Dishonored.
No.
Everyone knows about Dishonored, Kaitlyn.
No one talked about the first one.
Everyone talked about the first one. Like, if you go up to someone and say, do you know what Dishonored is? They're going to know what Dishonored is. It's a game that if you went up to someone and say, oh, do you know what Happy Fun Time Dick in a Box is? And they'll be like, oh, I've never heard of that. That sounds awesome. Do you know of a game like that? Something that you played. Think like old GameCube. Something you played on GameCube that you don't think people were talking about. Her early Xbox 360.
I don't remember a lot of games.
You don't? I mean, I have a game group that I don't think too many people know about, but I know people do know about. So if you have something that
Dishonored.
Okay, that's Kaitlyn's is Dishonored.
I'm telling you.
No, people talked about Dishonored. It might have not sold fantastically, but people talked about Dishonored.
Sure.
All right. Well, my game series would be okay. So I'm going to explain the games, and then I'm going to explain what they are, and I'm going to explain how I found them, which will lead me to another game that might also be obscure, which is how I found them. And that group of games is the Touhou Series, Touhou, I think, Touhou or Touhou. And it's basically a set of bullet hell games, and people know about these games. They're not super obscure, but like if someone plays games like Caitlyn and I do, it's possible that they haven't heard of it before. It's basically a top-down bullet hell game that's got like an anime girl design kind of thing, where they're all like magical girls basically. And it's basically it gets extremely difficult with the bullet hell aspect. And if you've never heard of bullet hell either, it's basically you have a character with a defined hitbox. Usually they're top down, but they can be like in different formats as well. Like they could be in a 3D plane, but usually they're like in a top down 2D plane. And basically you have a small defined hitbox. And if they can fit more projectiles on the screen, they put more projectiles on the screen. normally they'll hold like some type of pattern. Like you'll see, like it'll be like a flower of bullets that come out or something, and it comes towards you. If you take damage, you take damage. And the harder difficulties, usually it's one hit KO. And the idea is for you to be shooting at the enemy while weaving in between thousands of potential one-shot items that can kill you, basically. And the Touhou games do that. They do it very well. And
I was going to ask if you were talking about Touhou. I wasn't here for when you started it. It's not really Magical Girl, man. They're witches.
Okay. But, I mean, their look, the look feels like Magical Girl. They're not necessarily Magical Girls, but the look, like they're little cutesy girls that have sometimes big weapons or crazy powers and shit like that. And the way...
they made one or two. I think there's two. One was a fan-made game that is officially licensed and sanctioned by them, where it's a Touhou game, but it's it's like it plays a little bit. Yeah, no, they had the fighting game, and then they had this other one, and it's a little bit like it's like a top-down action game.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it on Steam.
Yeah.
They have another one that they released recently. I think that was like a 2D side scroller. That was a bullet hell as well. But yeah, they delve into different areas like that. But one of the besides the gameplay and it being some of the best at bullet hell, on top of that, the music for all the games is fucking phenomenal. For like almost every game, they all have just banger ass soundtracks. And there's one group, and the way I came across these series of games, one group is that Caitlyn should know too, called Dematori, and it's basically a group of two brothers that play guitar, and one of them also plays the drums, and they basically recreate the music, and they just basically layer the instruments over each other, so it's not like they all perform at once, although I think they have performed live before, but mostly they show up at like what's the Japanese, like huge Japanese doujinshi sale that they do every year? What's that called? Is it Comiket?
The one where they try and sell out of their shit before the copyright people get a hold of them?
Yeah. Is that Comiket?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They've sold their basically mixtapes at Comiket before, where they basically layer their instruments over each other and they recreate their music. And it's, again, all of it's fucking awesome. Think of it like, I guess you could kind of consider it a vague version of like power metal. Can we consider it power metal kind of, where it's like really fast and it's mostly guitar. The BPMs are usually really high. I don't know what genre that is, but it's kind of like that. And the music is all fucking awesome. Even the original songs are really good. And Dematori basically just takes that and puts electric guitars to the music, where it's normally like synthesizer or something along those lines. And the way I came across them is I used to play a game called Osu a lot, or Os. I think it's Os. Osu is not the right. It's Os, which means action or something in Japanese. I don't remember. And it's basically a rhythm game for the computer, where you get these little dots that pop on screen and you move your mouse to click on them. You don't necessarily click. You use two buttons on your keyboard, and it's a rhythm game. And sometimes you hold the button or sometimes you just tap it. And I came across Dematori on Os's like website, because all their shit's fan made. So they're all fan made things. And I came across it there, and I fell in love like instantly. I'm like, what is this from? And I looked at it's Touhou, and I'm like, oh shit. And then I played one of the really early games a long time ago. It had to be like 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago. I don't know, a long time ago. And I absolutely adored those games from then on. And I've played them every once in a while when I get the urge to play bullet hell. So definitely awesome games though. But my selling point is the music on the games. Like all of their OSTs are fucking phenomenal. And the dude that creates these games is like a musical genius. I don't know if he also makes them. I don't know whoever makes the music for these games is a musical genius. He does a fantastic job at creating the themes for these characters. Really good too. Yeah. Oh, some of the early games, not so much, but the newer games are really good. Some of the older games, Jesus, like I think I have one on my computer's like Touhou 7. Whew, that's characters look retarded. I'm not gonna lie, it looked like someone smashed their face in with a hammer. But definitely awesome games. If you have, if that sounded interesting to you, look that up. You could find them for free online. And there's some on Steam that you can buy. Like the newer ones you usually buy, and I recommend supporting the developer. But the older ones they had to do through like shareware and shit like that. So usually they would drop them on MediaFire and you can get it that way. And then they'd have like an official website over in Japan that I don't think is up anymore. Because I remember trying to look for it and I couldn't find it. And I was looking through Reddit and I couldn't find it for whatever reason. So, awesome games. Caitlyn didn't really have one besides Dishonored. Shawn, would you say Dishonored fits? I don't think so.
Hell no. Dishonored's a AAA, major budget, popular. Like, it's not a sleeper.
But it's okay. Caitlyn doesn't know. You can't think of a single game that you thought... I could think of one for you. Did you ever play Lemmings? Although it's still kind of... Like, it was still kind of popular.
What's it called?
Lemmings?
Lemmings was huge, dude. That's like saying, have you ever played SimCity?
No, I don't even think I've heard of it.
What about... I think something better than Dishonored, though.
You might say, like, Lost Vikings. You could probably throw something like that out
I played Lost Vikings. That was a cool game. Wasn't that done by... Fuck. It's a developer that's still doing stuff today. Wasn't it Bethesda? Didn't Bethesda make Lost Vikings? See, now I gotta fucking look.
I think so.
I think Bethesda did Lost Vikings. I'm not 100. I'm like maybe 80% sure. Let me see.
Either like them or Rare or one of the major ones. Frog. I think their logo was green. It was like a frog or something.
Lost Vikings was done by... Who developed Lost Vikings? It says Silicon and Blizzard published it.
There we go.
Oh, maybe it was Blizzard. Blizzard, I guess. Okay, well, I was wrong. But hey, what else is new?
Blizzard, Bethesda, they both start with a B.
Yeah, dude, I'll take it. All right, well, we thank you for your question, Lark. You guys out there, do you have games that you thought were obscure enough? Feel free to hit us up, either in the comments below on YouTube or in Discord. Let us know some of your obscure titles that you enjoyed and how you came across them. All right, we got box office tops, fellas and lady. Mm-hmm. What do we think was number one?
I don't even
What's
know what's
out
out right now.
Okay. New movies that released this weekend. We got The Nun, Peppermint, God Bless the Broken Road, Kusama Infinity, no fucking clue. They re-released Perfect Blue.
I wanted to go see that again.
The Apparition.
I remember reading about that.
How?
The Nun. Followed by Peppermint.
Are you cheating?
What? No, I'm a fucking cinephile.
Okay. First place was The Nun. Isn't that part of the Conjuring cinematic universe? God, I fucking hate
The Conjuring trasherpiece. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. And it made $53 million. Kill me now.
Of course it did.
Sitting at a budget of $22 million, they probably paid their actors in ham and cheese sandwiches. How much did it make internationally?
They just got a bunch of no names.
Internationally, it made another $79 million. So it's made $133 million worldwide. Just kill me now. Number 2, we got Peppermint coming in again, pulling in $13 million domestically, sitting at a budget of $25 million, which is interesting. I thought it'd be a little bit higher, but that has made foreign a little bit close, almost $2 million, about $1.5 million. So still sitting at $14 million. And number 3, still holding up pretty well. We have Crazy Rich Asians.
I want to see that so bad.
I want to see it too.
Pulling in $13 million for the weekend, sitting at a total of $135 million on a budget of $30 million. So that thing's going crazy. Number 4, we got Borf. 4th place.
Hold on. According Discord doesn't even think I'm connected, so I can't mute the phone.
Just leaves the call. At number 4, we have The Meg, coming in with $6 million, sitting at a total of $131 million with a budget of $130 million in its 5th week. The Meg has made, let's see how much it's made internationally. It's made another $360 million foreign, so it's almost sitting at $500 million worldwide. So that's doing just fine. And in 5th, we have Searching, coming in with $4 million, sitting at a total of $14 million in its 3rd week. and searching has pulled over 32 million worldwide. So that's also doing quite well. Some honorable mentions. We have Mission Impossible sitting at 6th place with 3 million for the weekend. Disney's Christopher Robin sitting at 7th place. We never saw that, Kaitlyn. Sitting at 7th place with 3 million. Incredibles 2 is still holding on.
I have to go see Christopher Robin.
Yeah,
I have
dude.
to. I'm still pissed off I haven't had a chance to.
Dude, they were talking about it. I was playing WoW, and they had an Easter egg in WoW that's literally Winnie the Pooh. And like, because there's one area that has, it's like a honey farm that like goes crazy or some shit. So the entire area is like going ham, and they have a whole little area. They have like a little hunter dude that's name is Robin, and then they have like a big feral fucking bear that's name is Pooh, and like a straight up realistic tiger. It's just little.
Did they have an owl?
Yeah, they had basically all the 100-acre wood besides
The kangaroos.
I think the kangaroo was missing, but they had Eeyore and his little like dilapidated ass shack next to him and shit like that. So, and they weren't like direct reference. They weren't like direct references. Like the donkey was like, it was like unsatisfied mule or some shit, and it was the little house next to him and stuff. It was pretty adorable.
It's like the Teenage Ninja Turtle reference in Borderlands too.
Yeah, just like that. Incredibles 2 pulling 1 million for the weekends in 12th place, still kind of holding on. Slenderman somehow making money, almost made $1 million for the weekend.
Oh my god.
Slenderman sitting at, how much money has this movie made? This movie's made $47 million, and it was shitty.
If they had at least attempted to make something spooky or scary or something remotely similar to the game, I wouldn't be so angry. I mean, but knowing exactly what they did with that movie, it was like somebody who had never played the game, but read a synopsis, explained it to someone else, who then explained it to someone else who doesn't like horror and said, hey, let's make this new horror movie. And then they were like, yeah, but okay, I'll do it. But if I do, it sure as fuck can't be scary, okay? And it's got to be as dumb as possible. Deal? Deal. All right, let's do it. And it's kind of what I feel happened.
Pretty much. Let's not stick to the true nature at all of this whatsoever, and just absolutely ruin it. Although not like Slenderman was any literature masterpiece. I couldn't think of the words to say there. Don't mind me. All right. Those are box office
It did help
stuff.
popularize independent horror games. So I mean, if Slender hadn't picked up like it did, the gaming industry I think would have taken a slightly different turn, or at least not have moved along as quickly when it came to like horror and things. Slenderman and Amnesia really kind of changed the landscape.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, at least for like indie horror, it shows that like it showed that it would be possible to make it big, kind of give people aspirations. Like, oh, hey, we could make a indie horror game, and it can do something. And it kind of brought out, although the indie market was still a thing, but it kind of helped push it forward. Like people kind of got like, oh, I could pseudo achieve my dreams too. These people did it, and look at Slenderman and the piece of shit that was.
Yeah,
that game can get popular.
It was a fairly simple, stupid game.
Yeah, and then but I think that was also, it kind of also showed the relationship between content creators and the games being made, because a lot of what made that game big was the people that made it big on YouTube, like Markiplier, PewDiePie, those like pioneers of YouTube and shit like that.
You hear about that girl? Those two girls
that stabbed their friend like 19 times.
They're like,
imagine being stabbed 19 times and surviving.
Slenderman.
What happened?
That was like about Slenderman.
Yeah, they're still in like a mental lockup right now. Yeah,
they should be.
Like how?
That's because they're fucking insane.
Yeah, they pretty much deserve it. But imagine like being dragged out to the forest with your two best friends or two friends. They stab you 19 times, and you crawl after being stabbed 19 times.
And you're like 10 years old.
And you go and like pulls a car over, and they take you to the hospital, and you survive that shit. Like, that girl is a tank.
She's traumatized.
Well, she's traumatized, but she's a tank. Like, that's insane. Stab me once, I was like, I fall over, I'm dead. That's all it takes.
God, take me now.
My kryptonite. Sharp items. Shit, my spleen. All right. So we got some games coming out this week. we have some stuff to look forward to. First, we have NBA 2K19 coming to PS4, Xbox One, and PC, and Switch on September 11th. We have Bastion coming to the Switch on September 13th. If you have not played that game and you have a Switch, it's an excellent time to do so. It's a fantastic game. We have Wasteland 2 Director's Cut coming to Switch September 13th. We have Shadow of the Tomb Raider coming to PS4, Xbox One, and PC on September 14th. And finally, we have a game called Light Fingers coming to Switch on September 14th. So, a few things coming out.
Any relation to Salad Fingers?
I have no idea. Salad Fingers is interesting.
I watched all of Salad Fingers.
I was going to say, I watched all of Salad Fingers in one day, I think.
I think we watched it together.
Yeah.
That was an interesting show. I'm subscribed to that dude. He still releases shit. That's kind of weird every once in a while. Like he has something new called Cream or something like that. I don't know how new it is, but it's... Kaitlyn?
He always has the best names.
Why must you move around in the noisiest chair of the house? That's why I told you to move the mic to the edge of the table so you don't have to lean over it like a heathen.
It just hurts.
Where's your table etiquette, you monster? All right.
Where's your face, you monster? Your face looks like something.
Ooh, such burn.
I'm gonna stab this bitch.
Do it. End my life. It's miserable.
Please. All right.
She's terrified she'll have to go back to Greece.
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna send you back to Greece. I'm gonna send you back to Greece for a month with no map.
Without toilet paper.
With no map.
Yeah, no map. Back to Greece. To the dark alleys with you.
Yeah.
Piece of shit.
In a town that only has bathrooms like that one.
But they all have bathrooms like that one.
Yeah.
I told you, it's just on the island.
It's the town where they put all their rapists when they get out of jail.
My hair is still...
All right, so we got some...
Ow!
Can you not just like sit still for 2 hours? I do it every fucking week. Like, how do you not?
I'm so angsty. My teen angst.
Have mercy on my soul. Give me strength. Come on.
What?
Saddle up. We still got another hour. Get back in this.
Oh my god, I can't.
We only got like 15 minutes,
my back
actually.
hurts so bad. I'm so bored.
My fucking God.
I meant exactly what I said.
God forbid you ever have to do something important. What are you doing?
I'm bored.
Shawn, can you handle this monster? Fucking useless human being.
Excuse me?
Slopped over, looking like a piece of trash. Sibling rivalries break
Call
out.
me a piece of trash.
All right. Let me actually get to the fucking news.
Yeah, hurry up!
I'm so done with this woman.
Dude, I need my uniform for tomorrow. Can you go do your clothes real quick?
How about you go do them and go stretch your back out? I'm doing something.
I appreciate the tone you just took me.
All right. So we had some news that came out this week. Call of Duty Black Ops 4 Battle Royale mode has been further detailed. Blackout mode. This mode actually did just come out today for people who pre-ordered the PS4 copy of the game. This is by Kevin Knezevic of GameSpot, saying, this week players will have their first opportunity to try Call of Duty Black Ops 4's new Battle Royale style mode, Blackout, thanks to the private beta session Activision is hosting on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Alongside the launch of the beta, the publisher has shared some new details about the mode, revealing more about its maps, selection of playable characters, and the kinds of items and vehicles you encounter as you fight to be the last player or team remaining. As previously confirmed, the Blackout beta will support up to 80 players, 20 players fewer than Fortnite or PUBG, and the two games that help popularize the Battle Royale genre. However, developer Treyarch says the final player count is still subject to change and may be tweaked before launch based on the feedback it receives from players during the beta session. Blackout beta can be played either solo, in duos, or in 4-player teams called quads, and it drops players on an island approximately 1,500 times larger than the classic Nuketown map. I don't know why we need that statistic.
1,500 times
larger than Nuketown, which is the smallest map in Call of Duty's history. Again, I don't know why we needed that statistic. The private beta kicks off.
50s one with the mannequins, it'll chase you if you do the thing.
Do they chase you? I thought they like make noise and it does something.
No, if you run through it's the one, right? The 50s version of the future, and there's like mannequins everywhere. If you run through the entire thing and shoot all their heads off,
I thought they
like
just they played a song. I don't think they chase you.
No, they'll chase you, and like it's like red light, green light. You'll turn around and they'll all be frozen. And then when you turn away from them, they immediately run up on you like a horror movie. And if you turn back again, you'll see them in freeze frame. And it's just a matter of time before they get you.
Maybe it's because I know they've had multiple iterations of Nuketown. So it's because I only remember them playing music. I don't remember them doing that. But that might be in a newer iteration they did that because I didn't play every version of Nuketown. I don't know. I'm calling fact check. So yeah, they showed off a little bit more of Blackout. I did see some gameplay of it today. It does look like they made some sacrifices when it comes to, I mean, again, they did have to do it for console users, and it is a very big map, and you have a lot going on. And it's not Fortnite. I mean, it's holding some form of realistic semblance with its graphics. So they did have to tone it down a bit from what I've seen. And also, I've heard that it's possible they might not be able to get it to lock at 60 frames in this new Battle Royale mode. I've heard talks or rumors that it won't be locked at 60 because of the scale, the amount of players interacting, and all the other stuff. It's kind of hard for... I keep dropping my pen. It's kind of hard for hardware that's running on like 6-7 years old. How old is PS4? It's like 6 years old? 5 or 6 years old? I don't even know. But hardware that's running on it's getting old. Battle Royale doesn't really support that kind of, I don't know. It's just there's a lot going on in Battle Royale, and you can't do stupid shit. Can you let him out? You want to go do your laundry too, and stretch your back? Come on, take one for the team. To. I said, can you?
No, you're like, come on, just keep going.
Oh my goodness.
What?
We'll sit there and complain, but won't do anything to solve the problem.
Shut up!
Bruce is an asshole, man. Fuck that dog. I say it every week, but fuck that guy. Piece of shit. All right, so that's. What do you think, Shawn? I know you saw the trailer. Jesus, Kaitlyn, chill out. What you doing?
What do I think about what was it? What was the question? I got sidetracked by giggling.
What do you think about Blackout? Did you mute yourself?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
No.
I'm. It takes a lot for a Battle Royale game to catch my interest. Blackout's got some interesting ideas, but it doesn't look...
I'm not retarded.
It doesn't look interesting.
To be honest, it doesn't interest me either. Just because the only thing that it has going for it is Call of Duty's gunplay is solid, but the rest of it seems like PUBG without some of the things that make PUBG nice. So, I don't know.
I like the team-based, where you can team up in quads and shit like that. That's nice. You can do that in Fortnite too, but for some reason, Fortnite... I don't know. There's something about Fortnite that I still can't put my finger on that I don't like. And I've played team-based games before, and hell, I've even played what would have been called Battle Royale, but like in 2000 kind of thing, games before. And when we were squadding up and doing coordinated combat, it just did not feel the way it does. I don't understand why Fortnite has so much love. I get the free and that the mechanics are okay. I still don't understand it. If you love it, that's fine. That's cool. I respect that. I think it's a pile of horse manure. I prefer the PvE, and even then, I can only do that for like 2 missions. But Call of Duty needs to stick with what it knows, and that is giving players a narrative involved around war and death and shooting, and having fun shooting mechanics and fun stories, and let players feel like they're a GI hero. And they need to stick with that shit.
Not this year. No single player.
Well, it's just the Battle Royale thing. It's, if you saturate, you're going to kill the genre. And it's happened over and over and over again. So fucking relax.
Yeah, and the thing is like you can saturate in order to get on top, but the thing is you have to innovate, and they're not fucking innovating. It's just Call of Duty in a Battle Royale format. There's nothing relatively new besides a slight Call of Duty spin. Like, oh, you could pick up perks that are consumables and you'll get like a perk for a certain amount of time. But it's just a battle royale, but you're using Call of Duty's engine to do it. There's like nothing.
Deathmatch where you can't respawn.
Yeah. So I don't know. It just looks overwhelmingly mediocre in its current state. It has not provided me any interest whatsoever. And I think the same thing will be for Battlefield's Battle Royale whenever the hell they show that off. I think it'll be the same thing. It'll be Battle Royale, but it'll be with a Battlefield tinge to it. I mean, I guess the biggest thing they have going for them for Call of Duty is the fact that there's vehicles that you can use, like helicopters and shit like that. But even then, like, I mean, it's
with the exception of all the graphical glitches, the reason why PUBG works so well is because it was built from the ground up to be a Battle Royale game.
Yeah.
I mean, all of the mechanics, all of the physics, all of the gameplay was built around that. Here they're building Battle Royale around Call of Duty or whatnot. And, I mean, it's just another deathmatch mode.
Yeah. So it'll probably still be stupid popular just because it's got Call of Duty slapped on it and it comes with the game and shit like that. But will it trump Fortnite is the thing to see. Will it surpass Fortnite in popularity? We'll have to see. So we'll move on to our next article. That's that. I don't have interest in Call of Duty really whatsoever this year, as every other year, pretty much. So they don't have my sale, especially with all the other shit going on. Like, come on, man. Got to try a little bit harder in order to get the people that are buying all these other games to actually give a shit about your game. All right. We talked about this, not this in particular, but something like this with the whole expanded universes in written media or a different type of media than just video games. But Nier Automata's story is being expanded in an official novel, which is pretty interesting. We have Jordan Ramey of GameSpot. We get to read the unseen sides of 2B, 9S, and A2. Viz Media has announced the worldwide pre-order for Long Story Short, the first of 2 novels that add additional context to the story and characters of Nier Automata. The book is already available in Japan, and its English translation will release on October 9th. Oh, dude, I'm so fucking excited for this.
What website is this on? I'll put my pre-order in today.
Well, I don't know. Right now, I'd have to look, but I could send you the article if it has a link in there. We'll do that in a second, though. Long Story Short is written by Jun Ishima and Yoko Taro, the latter of which is the director of Nier Automata, and works as both an entry point for those unfamiliar with Automata and as an avenue for those experienced with the game to explore its lore. The novel includes story details and character thoughts that weren't included in Nier Automata, or Automata, however you say it. I say Automata all the time and I know it's wrong, some of which change your perception of certain actions taken by the game's protagonists. In 2019, another Nier Automata novel titled Short Story Long will release. Instead of following the events of the game, Short Story Long is a collection of short stories that take place within the Nier universe. The original, or Nier Automata in the universe, not the Nier universe. The original Japanese version of Short Story Long is also already out and includes 7 stories, but is not confirmed whether the English translation will include the same number. Short Story Long is also written by Jun Ishima and Yoko Taro. You can pre-order Long Story Short for $15 in the US and $20 in Canada, or nab it at a discount if you buy the digital version. Nier Automata was one of our favorite games in 2017. We gave it a 9 out of 10. Thanks, GameSpot. This is why I use you guys. Oh, fuck yeah, dude. If you haven't played Nier Automata, what the fuck are you doing with your life? That includes you, Shawn, you piece of fat shit. I'm sorry. I love you, but you need to play that game, you piece of garbage.
The fucking dichotomy. It's like, I'm sorry, baby. I don't mean to hit you. You just make me do it.
I'm so pre-ordering these novels. It says you could pre-order them, but it doesn't say where. It might be on Amazon. I would look there. Or just Google the book. Oh, here we go. There's a link. I'm retarded. Let's find out. It is on... Oh, it's on Viz. It's on Viz's website, Shawn. Viz.com.
Okay.
Oh, dude. I'm so fucking pumped for this right now. Like, I saw it. I got really excited. I didn't read it. And now I'm so much more excited now that I've read it. You guys know I'm a fucking fanboy for this game, so this shouldn't come as a surprise to you the moment I read the article. You should have known what's going on. But fuck, my dick's hard. All right. So let's continue. We got some more stories to read through. We have Pokemon, Dark Souls, and other Nintendo Switch games will not support cloud saves. In other words, why the fuck am I giving Nintendo $20 a year for their online service when they don't do anything that other online services do? This is by Patrick.
Well, some of them do, some don't. The general gist is that Nintendo is about 5 years behind everyone else or longer in terms of the internet thing, and they're still not rapidly adopting it. And for whatever reason, the way some of the games were made, they're, I don't know, cheat sensitive or something. Like, they've got some weird explanations as to why some of it's not working. But honestly, I don't think they know how.
Oh, shit.
Like, I'm at the point now where I legit think that Nintendo
might just
somehow is just light years behind. Yeah. I don't think they figured out how to do things that everyone else has managed to do quite adequately for a while now.
All right, so again, this is by Patrick Fowler of GameSpot. We have Nintendo Switch's online service has been much anticipated, and despite previous delays, its release is tight around the corner. Now it looks like it's one of the biggest selling features, especially if you've lost or broken your Switch. Won't be available for all games. Some big titles like Pokemon Let's Go, Pikachu / Eevee, and Splatoon 2 will not allow cloud saves. As reported by Game Informer,
like the lack of cloud saves is protecting Splatoon 2 from cheating, because it's still happening now and there's no cloud saving.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or, you know.
Yeah. A message saying, quote, "This game does not support save data cloud backup" has begun appearing on many eShop pages. This includes the upcoming Pokemon and Splatoon, but also Dark Souls Remastered, Dead Cells, FIFA 19, and NBA 2K19. Pokemon has said in the past that all games would support cloud saves. Other games like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Mario Tennis Aces, and other games that will use the service's multiplayer capabilities don't have the warning, otherwise known as the games that no one actually gives a shit about. Nintendo Switch Online will go live sometime in the second half of September. At that point, you'll need a subscription to be able to play online. It's been free since the Switch's launch in March 2017. In addition to multiplayer and some cloud save abilities, you'll also have access to the library NES titles that will expand over time. The service just costs $20 a year, and there are options to subscribe monthly at $4 a month or pay $8 for 3 months of access. There's also a $35 family plan that allows for 8 different Nintendo accounts to share the same memberships, even if there's multiple consoles involved. So, yeah. The biggest selling point now would be the NES library. So you're basically, I don't know, dude. It's rough. Nintendo has never understood multiplayer or online capabilities. All their games suffer in those areas. So, I mean, this technically isn't news because it should be something that we should have seen coming, but still, like, you'd think with something doing this well, console-wise, something that's sold this many units and done this well, like, they'd kind of step their game up, like, hey, we got a lot of people that have these consoles, let's not fuck them over in one way or another. But no, Nintendo don't care.
Wii U.
Yeah, dude. All right. And finally, another interesting thing, and this has me excited after playing Spider-Man because of something in Spider-Man that I love. And this is the Cyberpunk 2077 devs are planning to have a photo mode in the game. This is by Tamar Hussein. CD Projekt Red has indicated that Cyberpunk 2077 will have a photo mode when it launches for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. The studio released a batch of wallpapers for the game, and in response, a Twitter follower brought up the inclusion of a photo mode. Quote, "We are planning to have it," the official Cyberpunk 2077 Twitter account responded. This will no doubt be good news for people looking forward to delving into CD Projekt's sci-fi vision of the future. If you've watched the lengthy gameplay demo, blah, blah, blah. It will be interesting to see how the photo mode is implemented, given that Cyberpunk 2077 is presented from a first-person perspective. At the decision that this has been a big topic of discussion. Despite the vocal objections to the use of this perspective, CD Projekt Red has said it's sticking to its guns, but also looking into implementing features for the small number of people who can't play first-person for a variety of reasons. So, yeah. I don't know if we ever talked. Did we talk?
Why wouldn't you be able to play?
I know like motion sickness can come into effect sometimes with first-person perspective, especially on smaller FOVs if you're playing on console, because their FOV is like around like 60 to 70, where on PC it runs between 90 to 105. So sometimes with a smaller FOV, you can get motion sick. Sometimes motion sickness is a weird fucking thing because it could do the the exact opposite, where if the FOV is larger, you can get motion sick on PC compared to if you're used to the console. But it depends. Usually people that have that don't play games in the first place because they can't. But I don't know. A lot of people just complain about it because they can't see their character. But the cool thing about photo mode is if it implements a third-person perspective, or, I mean, just a way to make the camera like a free roaming camera. So if your dude's just standing there, or you could have them emote, like lean on a bench or some shit, and you get to see your full character and take a photo of them, or like on a rooftop or getting into their car or whatever, I think that would alleviate some of the issues people have, because people just want to fucking see their character as they progress through the game. Especially with it being an RPG, you want to see, like, if there are changes to the character model, which it doesn't really look like there are at this point. It looks like you just kind of make the character and they're there. But like being able to see the person you created kind of actively interacting with the world is pretty cool. So I see the reasoning behind people being mad there's no first person. But like at the same time, I can see the benefits that a first person, I think I see the benefits that first person can provide when it comes to like just like immersion. And I think it's cool seeing. I like when you have first person and it sticks to it the whole time, kind of like what Far Cry does. So you see your character get into the car in first person, or you see like I don't know, them blow through a wall in first person or something like that. I always thought that was cool because you're not like zoomed out to look at it happen. You kind of stay within the body of the character the whole time. So I always thought that was cool.
Didn't you have a reflection in Far Cry? So I mean, I don't know. I mean, yeah, that's cool. But they should still start the game off letting you know what you look like, or
oh, you do when you create your character and you're in all your and although a lot of cutscenes are done from the first person, like there's like cinematic ones that aren't. Like you see your character's ass almost right away. You watched the gameplay demo, right? Like the 45-minute gameplay thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you saw your character's ass. You see some jumblies.
Oh no, I thought you were talking about the way the Far Cry. No, I love what they're doing with it. I'm not super fond of it because I always love the instant customization that comes with Cyberpunk. Being able to change your look on the fly and enjoy how you look when you're running around, and it's very difficult to do that in first person. But at the same moment, like it's been so long since I've been able to play a good Cyberpunk game. And I happen to love the pen and paper game, and so somebody bringing that world to life makes me very happy. So I'll take what I can get, and hopefully maybe they can do something a little bit more varied next time.
Yeah, I'm super
especially
pumped
considering
for this game.
they've mastered that they've mastered the whole third person thing anyway, because they did it with
Witcher. Yeah. I don't know. I think they could alleviate a lot of issues with the photo mode though, because people love again seeing their character. If you have ways of your character to interact with the environment, and then on top of that you could still look at them and get cool photos of them and shit like that, I think that'd make people happy in one way or another. I know it wouldn't alleviate everyone's issues because people are crybaby bitches on the internet, but besides that, I think it'd be a good way to kind of alleviate some people's issues with the game. But I'm super pumped for it, dude. Like, just seeing because one thing I was worried about is Cyberpunk, or CD Projekt Red's never done like a first-person shooter, or they might have, but their big thing is third-person like combat RPGs kind of thing. But this is like straight first-person shooter, and the gunplay all looks super solid in the game. Like, it all looked really cool. It kind of followed the Dishonored / Deus Ex style, where there's multiple ways of moving through a situation. You could either jump up really high, or blow through the wall, or sneak in underneath, or something like that, depending on how you spec your character. And I love that choice of how to get through a situation based on how you've created your character, and being able to role play that type of person, and having gameplay choices reflect that almost directly. I think that's cool. And the combat feels super solid. It looks cool. I'm just so fucking pumped for this game. It looks awesome.
I think of it less as a first-person shooter and more as a first-person adventure game.
Well, no, yeah, I understand that. I'm just saying they've never done a first person. So it's when that's the case, usually if it's like a first person adventure game, but there's shooting elements to it. Sometimes the shooting feels sloppy, but the shooting in this game looks really good. That's all I'm saying. Not that it is a first person shooter or anything like that. It's just that the first person elements to it feel solid as hell. Like they feel good. And that makes me excited. That's all I'm saying there. Welcome back.
Gotcha.
How it goes? We're about to talk about Spider-Man. Hell yeah. All right. So that's that. I would love a photo mode in Cyberpunk. Like, even if it's something like I could lean against a wall and smoke a cigarette or some shit, do something super cyberpunky and then take a picture of my character to share with friends or something like that. Something that simple, I would adore. All right. So we have some time. We're going to jump into Spider-Man. We're going to have everyone talk about it for a bit, explain what they like, things they may dislike. I know Caitlyn has some quips with the game. Quips? Is that the right word? Issues with the game. Are you unmuted? All right, now? We good? All right. Cam, what do you think about Spider-Man? I know you've played it the least amongst all of us, so you might not have as much to say. But what are your thoughts, opinions, compared to the old GameCube Spider-Man 2 we played? What do you think?
I like it.
Nice. God damn it. You were
overly verbose as usual. Just can't get her to shut up.
There's anything that sticks out to you, like as you've played. Because I know you had complaints, right? Mm-hmm. What were your complaints? Fucking explain yourself.
You said what I liked.
We're on a podcast. Well, continue.
Okay. I like games that have stealth.
Okay.
Like Dishonored.
Dude. Okay.
The stealth in that game is amazing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree.
I like that game, the stealth in that game a lot. But I feel like it feels like it's trying too hard.
What?
Like
what, Spider-Man?
Everything. Yeah, everything in Spider-Man feels like it's trying too hard. Like the 101 different ways you hack things. Like
what?
You know, like
we both had the same exact fucking response.
Like you know when you're doing the towers and you have to move around the sticks.
Okay.
And then when you're doing the water thing.
What I can give you, and I kind of see where you're going with this, is that out of all the things Spider-Man does, none of it's necessarily new. It's all stuff we've seen before.
Yeah.
That I kind of get what you're going from there.
It's like it's trying too hard.
I mean, it's pretty much it's Arkham Asylum, but with Spider-Man.
Yeah. Same with the stealth. It's like too many buttons for me to remember.
Okay, now you're digging yourself a fucking hole here.
Like when
solid criticism, Caleb. Come on, something.
I don't know how to explain it. Like when I was playing it just now, I was doing that part where you just met.
No spoilers. No story spoilers.
It happens like 10 minutes
in the
game. No spoilers.
I'm sorry. Spoiler free here.
The part where you meet that person that does the thing that's important around the other thing.
You could say it's in a museum. That's not a spoiler. The first museum sequence. How about that?
Okay, there you go.
That's not a spoiler.
And like you're sneaking around, and it's like, oh, do this, push square, and you.
Yeah, you're still really early in tutorial.
Yeah.
So they're just kind of flooding you. It's like an exposition
zone.
What
the hell's going on? So.
Yeah. One thing I could say about the stealth in that game is you learn very quickly. Besides in a part where you're not Spider-Man, but if you're Spider-Man, you learn very quickly that the stealth doesn't fucking matter. I mean, it's cool, you could do it, but I've been doing stealth and gotten caught almost every time just because I'm stupid and I wasn't paying attention to one thing or another, and there's no repercussions besides, now you gotta fight bad guys. And the combat in that game is not necessarily super difficult once you get used to it, because it's Arkham. You press the button, and then when your Spidey sense goes off, you dodge. And then for the most part, as long as you're not getting swarmed, you're good to go. But like,
it's not my favorite.
The stealth.
Just as a quick heads up, if you're playing it on hard, it is difficult, just like in Arkham.
I switched to hard, and I'm still not having issues.
I'm playing on easy.
Because medium was too easy.
Where it becomes a pain in the ass.
I switched to hard maybe 7 hours in, so that was before I started heavily pushing the main story. So before I started fighting provincial characters, blah blah blah.
The boss fights weren't the problem. It was when you do the squad fights, and there's like 32 guys, 4 with rockets, 5 with machine guns, 2 guys with whips, 3 guys with shields, and they're all out and play at the same time.
You know what you do, Shawn?
Then it becomes challenging.
I'll
Not
tell you.
hard, but challenging.
There's a flow chart for this, right? So is Web Blossom up? Is Web Blossom off cooldown? Yes. Press the 2 sticks together, enemies dispersed, you win. Is Web Blossom not on cooldown? Survive. That's the flow chart I use. And then is Web Blossom now on cooldown? Click the sticks together, win. Is Web Blossom off cooldown?
Web Blossom is too strong.
That shit's OP.
But it doesn't take out everyone. Like if I get a squad of 8 dudes and I use it, there's at least 3 that make it through.
Yeah, but at that point you've solved the problem. The problem was that you're overrun. But Web Blossom, you brought your whole group of friends here to fight me? Please, I'm gonna skeet over all of them, dude. Get the fuck out of my face.
It's way too strong.
It's mad busted.
I try and not use it, and then I'm so used to using it, then I'll go and click the sticks, and I'll get some other fucking lame-ass ability that doesn't do anything.
Yeah, dude.
It's like, oh, you can run faster and knock people over. I'm like, but I wanted the thing that I took off because I didn't want to use it. Because fuck this, I'm just putting it back on.
It's a good way to farm tokens. What I'll do is a crime will be happening, and the simpler ones that don't involve you to really do anything, you just fight dudes. I'll just drop down Web Blossom, crime complete, and leave, and I farm fucking crime tokens that way.
You do a ground slam and then do Web Blossom.
Shit's busted. But the thing with the stealth, yeah, if you're like a different character, because you play as a few different characters throughout it, where you do have, if you're not playing Spider-Man, you're usually going through some sort of stealth segment, if it's some kind of gameplay. And if you screw up there, you're obviously fucked. You can't really fight. So you lose there. So the stealth does matter in those sequences, although like the areas you go through are super linear for the most part. Like a lot of the segments with one of the other characters that you go through are super linear. So you'll always go the same kind of way, and you'll distract the same dudes, and it's pretty easy to tell what you have to do in every situation. You'll never have something where you'll have multiple dudes patrolling and it's just a big area, and then it's kind of figure out what you need to do. It's more of just like you're getting from point A to point B. They never really fully open up the stealth to a point where it's like actually important to be stealthy. Like I've had a lot of segments where you're not playing a Spider-Man where if you kind of see there's a little path that will kind of open up, you could pretty much run through a good portion of, or it's like a crouch run, but you could kind of run through a lot of it, and they're very forgiving. Like I've had people see me say, "Who's that?" And then like I'll be behind my box and he'll be like, "Must have been like a big ass fucking rat or something, man. I don't know. I'm just gonna walk over here."
Yeah. I don't understand why Jeff, Pete, and Bob all vanished over here, and I thought I saw something, and I said it looked like Spider-Man, and I also saw webbing everywhere. But well, I guess it must have been a rat, and then they walk away.
Yeah, or like you'll use like a lure or something. You'll file a lure against the wall, and it makes like a fucking beeping noise or something. It's like, that's odd. I'm gonna go walk over this wall where this beeping noise is, man. That's something you don't hear every day. I'm gonna abandon my post to check that shit while I let Steve get covered in Spider-Man jizz.
Well, to be fair, it worked in Batman too. You drop a beeper thing, and they'd walk over.
Yeah,
and be like, "What's this?"
That's just more of something against video games. Everything's like that. You throw a rock into a corner, you hear it bang against the fence, and the dude's like, "I gotta stop." Card game, watching the soccer, everything. I gotta stop it. I heard something bang against that fence. I'm gonna go run outside into the dark and go get stabbed. BRB.
That's Far Cry. The kid in the pool. That's okay. He's an infant. He'll survive.
I have to check that fucking rock noise, dude. I gotta go get stabbed out back. Be right back. That's just video games, but like it's just the stealth.
Horror movies.
It just feels like again, like the stealth. It has some missions where it's nice. Like there's one hostage situation that happens later. That's nice. The stealth is okay. It's cool because you're like working together kind of as you do it. I thought that was cool because it made sense. It was different. But a lot of the stealth just feels kind of arbitrary. It's not that insane. It just feels like, again, they take a lot of things that worked in other games and smash them together. And for the most part, they work well. But it's just some things feel like they're tacked on compared to others. But I love the game. Don't get me wrong. I fucking adore this game. It's really good, and I hope it wins something at the Video Game Awards. But for everything else, it's not perfect. No way, shape, or form, and not many people have really given it 10 out of 10s because it has some flaws here and there. So we're gonna kind of, I agree with the stealth at least, but the combat as you level and it opens up, it feels really good. It feels good using different gadgets to take out. There are so many. I haven't finished the game yet, but there's so many really fucking cool set pieces in this game. Like, I mean, if you've watched the E3 stuff, when the raft, originally everyone breaks out of the raft and Riker gets attacked and stuff like that, which happens in the E3 trailer, and you're chasing after a Zappy boy. What's his name?
Electro.
When you're chasing after Electro, that whole thing, as they've said, is something that you're doing yourself. It's not like a cutscene. It's not a QTE. It's literally you're doing the swinging while everything's falling to shit. And everyone's seen that. Everyone knows about that. But that's an awesome set piece. And they have a few others just like that are really cool. A few boss fights that are really awesome. And everything about the game, everyone uses this word. Everyone that's...
I didn't know about that. I didn't see it.
Oh, well. You're gonna find out. But yeah, it's cool, and I'm excited to see when you see it. And there's other things that you do as well, encounters you have with some of the other villains that they showed off in the trailers. They have like one big thing, and the biggest thing of the game, and it was important that they nailed this, although there's still some quirks with it that make it feel clunky, but the swinging, the moving around the city, it all feels really fucking good. The swinging in is really well done. Now, some of the moments where you're supposed to move a bit slower is kind of quirky. Like if you're trying to move around in the air to land somewhere, it's a little weird. Or sometimes if you're trying to crawl on a wall, it's a little funky if you're trying to move between crawling to wall running. It's just some of the animations feel like they're like working against each other, and it just feels clunky here and there. But as a like start to a franchise of games, which I hope it will be, I mean, they'd be stupid to not make this a franchise. But as a start, it's an overwhelmingly solid start to this franchise that they could just go further and improve upon. And I would say that this is the best Spider-Man experience that we have to date. It is hands down one of the best ones. The story's really good. The characters are really good. The acting's really good. Even when you're inside buildings and walking around, there's a lot to do. Like I know you, Shawn, you got lost in Dr. Octavius's lab, just walking around and picking up tapes and shit and just hanging out and doing things. And it's just, there's so much detail to this world. There's so much attention to the world as you walk around, even on the floor, and people will like try and high five you, or you could take a selfie with someone, or you could say hello to someone, or just like hang out with the crowd, or just even...
There's Easter eggs and hidden photos, which I just found out about the hidden photos accidentally. But there's Easter eggs, there's locations that you would only know if you read the comics or you grew up on Spider-Man, like restaurants and bars, little locations, blood splatters on walls where something happened. Like I'm going to areas that I remember stuff happening in like the 90s and the early 2000s in Spider-Man books. And I'm like, oh shit! And I'm getting all excited, or a character pops in. Like this thing is a love note to Spider-Man fans. Like I'll reserve my opinion on it when Kyle's done gushing semen in your ears, but I will say that it is very much a love note to fans, and they were very careful not to, like they pulled an Arkhamverse thing. They created a Spider-Verse specifically for Spider-Man and his stuff going on. There's sprinkles of the film universe, there's sprinkles of the comic book universe, sprinkles of the animated universes, and the sprinkles of the old universes. Shout out to the Tobey Maguire, to the Andrew Garfield. Really, we just want to pretend the Andrew Garfield thing never happened, except for Emma Stone. But if only Emma Stone had been in the original series, I think the world would be a better place.
That the like model they use for Peter Parker, like the Peter Parker we have in this game, I know we've talked about it, but I'm just bringing it back up on the podcast. I shared it with Caitlyn too, but he kind of looks like a softer Andrew Garfield. Like me and Shawn Cam, what we were saying was he looked like if he was a mix between Andrew Garfield and
Tobey Maguire.
Oh, was it Tobey? I was saying the kid from Homecoming. I forget his name.
Oh yeah, what's his name? Yeah, you're right. No, it does kind of feel like they morphed certain values from these actors together to create one guy. Like, I see bits of Tom Holland, I see
That's his
bits of
name.
Andrew Garfield,
Yeah,
and I see bits of Tobey Maguire too.
Yeah, but I
Especially his posturing, like the posturing.
Oh yeah, the way he walks.
Tobey had hands down way more than the other two. Like, he was able to embody Spider-Man in and out of the suit. The way he walked, his mannerisms, the whole nine. It was just really, really well done. I think they paid attention to that.
Yeah, and and it's just like I just love. Again, I've said already about the attention to detail, but like when you walk through Feast and stuff, and you just hang out, and you could talk to some of the homeless people, and just again, it feels like a living world. It feels like, and that's something that all developers shoot for: a persistent world, a living world, something that it's actively revolving and changing. And there's a lot of change that happens throughout the course of this game to the world, and it's just well done. But I just think its biggest feat that they accomplished was the movement system. And all the reviewers, what everyone says when you read a review about this is that the game makes you feel like Spider-Man. You feel like Spider-Man. Yeah. You feel like Spider-Man. And there's a reason everyone's a broken record on that, is because you feel like fucking Spider-Man. And if you are in any way, shape, or form a fan of Spider-Man, this is something that you have to play, because it is the closest you can get to being Spider-Man with everything that he does, the way that he swings. This is the mannerisms, the animations, the fighting, everything about this feels like a mature Spider-Man. And it is so fucking well done, and there's so much attention to the way the posture that he holds, the way that he moves, the way he acts, his stupid one-liners that he shoots out like a Gatling gun throughout combat, and everything about him. They did so much work, and they did their homework to making this feel like a genuine retelling or genuine telling of a Spider-Man story. And a lot of people are saying this is like one of the better Spider-Man movies they've been a part of, because there's this cutscenes that they do, and the cinematic version of it is really well done. There's darkness to it. There's a lot to it that pays ode, as you said, to different versions of Spider-Man, the different media outlets that we've had of Spider-Man and stuff like that. And just everything about it, again, it oozes what makes Spider-Man his character, that type, and it's awesome. So I will unleash you, Shawn. What do you got to say about this? What do you got to say about this game?
Well, the swinging, I think overall the game is a must-have, regardless of anything. I do believe that it's definitely a must-buy, especially if you're a fan of the Arkhamverse games or you're a fan of Spider-Man. It's a must-buy. Is it done as well as the Arkhamverse games? No. The combat, now there's a trade-off, because even though the combat isn't as good as the Arkhamverse games, it's not as tight as the Arkhamverse games. There's a lot more sloppiness, a lot more luck, and this goes a long way towards the way the game was designed, which is one of my big grief points. In an effort to make Spider-Man more mobile and faster, and to differentiate itself from the Arkhamverse games, you flop all over the place willy-nilly. Like, you can launch into a combo and there's nobody standing there. You'll fly off to where an enemy should have been. Oh, it's glitchy as fuck too. There's
oh yeah, it's quite glitchy.
Needs more patching.
Yeah, it does.
But you'll swing off to hit an enemy. There's no enemy there. Your attack chain gets broken because of it. Like, there's just a ton of minor annoyances that add up to create a fairly decent annoyance in the game.
Super annoyance.
It is somewhat sloppy in the combat. Like, most of the time, you're doing what you want to do. It's responding the way you want it to, until it counts. And then you'll swing right past somebody, or you'll swing out to them and stop on an invisible wall, or you'll overshoot them, or you'll flip one too many times. Little polish areas that needed to be there that were absolutely there in the Arkham games with Batman would go a long way. And I think that they tried so hard for the mobility that they forgot to make the combat more precise. And everything in this game is like just slightly less than what they did in the Arkham games. And that's not just because I love Batman. The combat in Arkham was polished and beautiful. The stealth in Arkham was fucking awesome. Very polished, very beautiful, very well done. Everything was very well balanced. The only thing that was shitty in the Arkham games was some of the story choices and the end boss battle in the first game. Like, those were the huge downfalls. Say what you will about the story. I had some issues with the Arkham story myself, being a Batman purist. But the gameplay, there were no flaws. There were, or I should say, there were very few. And in Spider-Man, it's just a little bit weaker in every aspect. The combat's not as good, but it's still very satisfying. It's the closest you're going to get to a new Batman game. The swinging, for the first few hours, it's a joy. Even afterwards, it's still a joy. Until you start to realize that Spider-Man, it's like, I don't know if anybody remembers when they first started making cover-based shooters, and you would accidentally stick to fucking walls all the damn time to the point where it made the game frustrating. That's this game. You're swinging past a building, you're trying to clip the corner to get somewhere because you're in a hurry. Grab the building. Grab the building. Grab the building. Stop! Grab a rooftop. You're trying to catch something that's flying through the air. Shoot right past the alley because every other time you've been able to do a tight turn, but this time, it doesn't feel like it. Like, the swinging controls, the mobility is brilliant at first until after you realize that what they did was they took the swinging from Spider-Man 2 and mixed it with the parkour from Assassin's Creed 2. And when you split those two together, and at first it's really good, but there's no breaks. There's no control once you're committed to a certain action. There's very little you can do until that action is finished. You can curve left, you can curve right, but if you're trying to, like, those goddamn pigeon missions pissed me the fuck off. And eventually I got it down and I got it practiced and I got good at them. But that's the thing, man. You're padding a game, which is probably a 10-hour game, run through. You're padding it with busy missions. And of all of these busy missions, they add the thing that's valuable of those, because all of your side missions in Batman were individual stories. It was like a quest that you had an option of doing. And that quest had a thorough story start to finish, sometimes including additional boss battles or additional content that would open things up. In Spider-Man, that happens a few times. There's one side quest that results in you actually get an additional boss fight with it. There's another one that results in you getting a costume. There's one, and you don't know this coming, so I'm not spoiling it. You won't know it until it happens. And you get to interact with some other characters from the Spideyverse. But it's not enough. Most of it, you go up, you have a little anecdote about somebody, then you go and do busy work. And of this busy work that's trying to pad the time, most of it isn't terribly exciting or challenging. And the only thing that makes it fun is that you're Spider-Man and you're swinging around, sticking to shit and throwing webs. Or the fact that J. Jonah Jameson will bitch about it later. Like, that is it. And I was a little disappointed that they didn't make the busy work more varied or more story-centric. It's a little disappointing that your street thugs and shit disappear after you've done all of the arrests in the area. It stops until the next phase of the game kicks in. Like, there's a lot of rough spots that aren't great, and it just keeps the game from being great. But it is a really good game. If they had tried to put a little bit more effort into the busy work missions, the collectathon shit, to make that a little more fun or a little more varied, it would have been appreciated. They made the effort with the rooftop science things, but 3 of those are smog missions.
Yeah, I did.
So
I was gonna say, I did enjoy those because they had some sort of implication to what was going on, but they were over in an instant. Like, it was always a problem that could be solved within that 5-minute bracket for that mission. And like you were saying, some of them were repeats of each other. Again,
and overall, sorry. Go ahead.
It does feel like an attempt to pad out time. Like, oh, we got an open world game. We got to get like 40 hours. Throw a bunch of collectibles. And that's what they are. They're varied collectibles.
Understand it's not really an open world game.
You're right. Yeah. I mean, the only element that it shares that is open world is the fact that, like, you don't ever have to do one thing. Like, if you wanted to do the story last after you do all the other side stuff, you can kind of do that, although once you're in the tutorial, you still got to get through some stuff first. But you're right in the fact that it is quite linear for the most part, where it's just a big map with a lot of stuff scattered about, again, to keep you busy, almost like it.
And it should be.
Yeah, no, yeah. I don't think like the first thing I tried to do with this game, and I don't know if you ever go there, is I tried to go to the Statue of Liberty, but I couldn't get there. I got out to the water.
I tried to cross the bridge.
Yeah, and it's just you can't go that far. And again, that's understandable. There needs to be limits to a game. And again,
some of that's going to be opened up in the expansion.
I would like to at least take a picture. I wanted to just take a fucking picture on the Statue of Liberty. One thing that's super...
you have to take a picture of the raft, and you can't go there, so you have to run out on the bridge and take a picture of it.
Super awesome thing. The photo mode in this game, kick-ass. It is fucking awesome. And another really cool thing is you can stop in any cutscene and take a photo. And you can edit it with, like, filters and change the FOV and do all that shit within any cutscene. So, like, during every cutscene, I'm sitting there with my finger on the start button. I'm like, do something badass, Spider-Man. Let me get a picture of it. Like, throughout all of the cutscenes. Like, there was one cool thing where he's, like, falling back and there's, like, fire behind him and he's shooting out web. And I got, like, I sent them all to you because that's how I save them onto my phone. And it was like a super badass photo. And there's another one in this, like, kind of dreamlike state you're in later in the game that had this cool, like, skybox to it. I took a picture of that. Just, like, the photo mode in this game's awesome. And it constantly reinforces the fact that we need photo mode in almost every game, because especially games that are pretty. This game's pretty. Now, there's some kind of wonky things when you're looking at stuff from a distance. You could easily see things popping in and out if you're looking for it. But usually throughout most of the time, if you're just swinging, you're not going to be seeing it because you're not looking for it. But there are some things they took here and there. A lot of people complain about, like, oh, they took out puddles and shit or whatever from the E3 demo. I don't give a shit about that. But the game does look good for the most part, and the model work on all of Spider-Man's suits is absolutely fantastic. All of his suits look clean as hell. They all look really good, and it's nice that they all exist throughout everything. So if you're wearing a suit, he will be wearing it at all times. It doesn't, like, go to a cutscene and he's back in his normal suit like some bullshit that some games pull. Whatever the suit is you're wearing, it exists through the entirety of the game. You can wear him in his... I almost spoiled something. You could wear him in, like, a Goofy suit or something throughout in the entire game, and he will wear that in everything. And they all look fantastic. All the suits are really nice.
I've kept him in the classic suit the entire game. I'll try the other ones on him, but I like the classic suit. I think it's perfect.
Yeah, I don't want to say anything because some people might consider that spoilers, but the classic is fine.
Well, if anybody's ever played a fucking Spider-Man game before, you know that in the Spider-Man game, they unlock tons and tons of suits.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's almost a guarantee. If there's a movie out, they'll give you a movie suit, unless it's a movie game. They'll give you a retro comic book suit, sometimes a couple of different retro comic book suits, like a current comic book, a usually 70s comic book, a cartoon comic, suit, and usually you'll get a Spider-Man 2099 suit.
I was going to say.
In almost every game.
Yeah, usually they have that.
I usually look for that one. I was waiting for that one in this one. My biggest beef with the game is it's just not as good as it could have been, and in all honesty, I know they were trying to not rip off Arkham too much, but they really should have. The combat could have been tighter. The missions, the side quests could have felt like stories unto themselves more. I mean, there's two in particular that I thought were fairly well done. But again, one of them was just busy work with some good dialogue. The rest of them are busy work with some okay dialogue. And then there's one that's busy work, but it's not. It's like an actual full-blown side quest.
Yeah.
Like you're doing adventures, you're fighting bad guys, you're meeting in-universe characters, and that one was super fun. I did that one last night. You heard me when I was in the boss fight.
Yeah.
So that part I really enjoyed, but I can see why this is. I think that the hype that people are building up around this isn't fair, because it's not that good. It's not perfect. It's not 9s and 10s, but I think it's a solid 7.5, 8. And I think with just a little bit of extra attention, not having people swing off in the wrong fucking direction, not maybe mapping some of the controls slightly differently, maybe incorporating stealth a little bit stronger instead of, I just really love how Batman did it, and this had the exact same option in plays in very similar ways, but it's just not as smooth, not as many options, not as varied, not as the flesh. It's not as deep. This game isn't as deep. The fighting combat not as deep. The stealth definitely not as deep. Stealth feels like it was tacked on. Most of the abilities, the modes, feel like they were tacked on. They're just done well enough that you don't care as much.
Yeah.
But the thing that gets me the most, and I was reading somewhere, Mary Jane Watson is an actress. She's always been an actress. It's part of her character. It's part of her passion. And I don't know, because I haven't read enough, so this is just speculation, and I hope that I'm wrong. Mary Jane has been a strong character without being domineering. Well, she's been domineering, but without being an in-your-face, like, femme power example, for lack of better terminology. Like, it feels like every time a property comes out, they take the females and they have to change them so that they fit the current SJW mindset, the current social mindset around what women should be in media now, instead of allowing a character to be a character. Some of them can be strong, some of them can be weak, some of them can be smart, some of them can be stupid. But I understand that there's been some backlash to characters in the past. I understand where a lot of the logic comes from, and this is just somewhat of a minor gripe. But being as Spider-Man and his universe is one of my top 3 favorite comic book universes, I don't like it when people fuck it up too much. Now, this whole universe has been rebooted, so they're rewriting things, right? But a villain's still the villain. I don't know what the E3 trailers showed, so I don't know who I can mention, but the characters you work with, you're going to see them in somewhat different light than you may have seen them in the movies or the books or the cartoons, and that's cool. It took some swallowing to get used to, but I got used to it. But the thing that gets me the most is the dynamic between Pete and MJ has been changed. And MJ has always been a little bit classier than Pete and a little bit wiser than Pete. I mean, not counting the Kirsten Dunst bit, and they never really gave her much depth there. But she's also been Pete's strength, right? And she largely wears the pants in the relationship. Okay? But she has never been a fucking gung-ho, badass, brutal, ballsy reporter. She has rushed headfirst into danger for Peter's benefit. She has been a hero. She's been Spider-Gwen. She's been Spider-Woman in an alternate universe. They had kids. They all had powers. Like, there's been plenty of times when she's that. But in this universe, the universe that they're supposed to be emulating and spinning into their own story, she's not a reporter. She doesn't work at the Bugle. And whereas I haven't checked to see if she's doing it in the comics right now, if they rebooted her after the whole Secret Wars, Infinity War, whatever the fuck it was they did when they smashed the worlds together. So I may be ranting about nothing at all. Again, I haven't had a chance to look. But I grew up with her being an actress. And I looked forward to seeing how they dealt with that dynamic of her moving towards the stars and him moving, in towards science and his history with reporting, and then to find out that she's not an actress, and they've very much changed her character to be a stronger, more independent character when she was plenty strong and plenty independent before. And I wish they would have left that alone. And you'll see they've made plenty of character tweaks to all of the characters that you love. Norman Osborn's a little different. Everybody knows he's in it. Do they know about the lab? The guy who has the lab?
I've already said that he has a lab, but he wasn't in the trailer, so we won't say it in case people missed it initially.
Okay, well, there's
characters are different.
There's a character that has been changed somewhat. Now, if you know his history, he does have a side to him that is much like this, so I'm accepting that right out. I'm good, but I think that they could have hewn just a little bit closer to the bone, and I would have had a more satisfying experience. I still like MJ. They toned her red hair down for some reason, and she's
mad stupid sometimes, dude. Like throughout the game,
yeah.
She's so stupid sometimes. I'm like, come on.
Which is not. MJ's a pretty smart individual, but she's not. I mean, she's. I don't know. I don't like her as a reporter. It's never been in her nature. She is stubborn. She can be fearless, but she's not that kind of. I don't know. It's just she's not that kind of person. So that kind of bugs me that they had to make her like that. But otherwise, look, every element in the game, nothing's done to perfection. Nothing's done even close to perfection, but everything is done good. And it's good enough to go and buy the game now and enjoy it. Any complaints you had about Spider-Man 2 on GameCube and PlayStation are probably still going to be here. And Spider-Man 3, for that matter. The repetition of the stopping the crimes in the living city, the busy work stuff. It's all still there. Everything is still there. I mean, think of it as a sequel to the good PlayStation games that came out back in the day around the Tobey Maguire movies.
Yeah. All right. I agree with you. I'm not as much of a purist when it comes to the story. Although I could see, I understand your side coming from it. I do agree with you a lot. I think the story is really good. I like the characters. Again, it's all very well acted. The voice acting is very good. The animations are very good. Everything that they do character side is nice. It's well done. It's got a lot of budget to it, and it feels real. It feels good.
I still like Mary Jane. I still like all the characters. I wish they would show Jonah.
I always drop my fucking... I mean, you get a little stupid picture when you listen to his radio. I think I like... Again, the attention to detail in the world. It's cool that although they're literally all the exact same room, if you go up to a house, you could literally look inside and there'll be a room inside. But if you do that too much,
chairs painted on the walls.
Yeah, if you look too much, though, you'll see that every house in that block is 2 to 3 rooms that are just repeated. If you do the same thing with the big ass skyscrapers, you'll see the same thing. They're all like the exact same room, but it's still cool that exists. It's not just a PNG slapped up to the glass. It's actually a room that has depth to it that you can look inside. They didn't have to do that, and they did it. I thought that was pretty cool. I think the world is nice. I do agree that a lot of what you do after feels like busy work. It does feel nice because you are playing Spider-Man. What you're doing revolves around the concept of moving fast or punching dudes through most of the collectible stuff. You go somewhere fast or you punch a dude somewhere. And because all that core stuff is well done, it doesn't feel as much of busy work until you actually sit back and think about it. Wow, I just collected 55 of this one item. Holy shit. But again, since you're swinging around exploring the city as Spider-Man, you're fine with it because you're still in that like, holy shit, this is so cool. I haven't had as many issues with the mobility side, but I have every once in a while, like when you're trying to do precision things with it, I could see sometimes the issues. They kind of alleviate that with the point shooting, where if you click both triggers together, you'll fire to a point and it's all contextual throughout the world. So if you could kind of aim and latch onto something for a complete stop, or if
that doesn't always work though.
I mean, if you slow down the camera to do it, it depends where you are. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But yeah, I've had times where I'm looking up to go up and it just won't latch on to anything, so I'm just kind of screwed. But
wall physics are garbage. The crawling on the wall physics are terrible.
Yeah, I've had times where I just wanted to go from crawling to running, and it just won't do it. Sometimes you'll go to run from a crawl and you'll run left and right instead of up and down for whatever fucking reason. So I do see like the precision side of things, like you were saying. The precision to the mobility is kind of wonky sometimes. But again, it all feels like a very solid basis. Like if they come back, rework this engine just a little bit, make things a little bit more toned for the second game, we could have another fantastic game in the Spider-Man universe. And I want to see more of these games. I want more from Insomniac and stuff. I think they did an awesome job for a first title to hopefully a franchise of games. So definitely, yeah. Awesome game.
It's a good beginning. That's
Definitely.
what I keep thinking. It's a good beginning to a new franchise, because as long as they continue to work on improving the franchise as much as possible, then it can only go up.
Definitely, 100%. So if you have if you like Spider-Man whatsoever, or if you like superheroes whatsoever, play this fucking game. It's really good. You're gonna like it. Take it from us. You will enjoy this game. All right. So we'll go ahead and
I love it.
We'll go ahead and call the episode here, episode 65 of the Thought Patrol podcast. So, before we go, as always, I think I'm going to need some outros. Caitlyn, what you got for the lovely listeners?
Have a good week.
As always, a banger. I always appreciate that.
Yeah. Very exciting.
Exactly. All right. Shawn, what about you, my friend?
Hugs and kisses, know your ping parts. Remember to send nudes.
Hell yeah. And before we go, I shall leave you all with a thought. There are no clocks in Las Vegas gambling casinos.